Okay, we're here. Um, right now it looks like we only have 2 viewers. I'm not sure if that's just a delay or a miscount. So we're just gonna wait for a bit. In the meantime, if any of you guys are here, if you guys want to chat, that would be kind of fun. Oh my god, it's Jennifer and Cont. Oh my god, how are y'all here already? Not crazy. Yeah, I'm talking. What? Let's go, Jennifer. David's just too good. Where am I getting notifications from? Thank you guys for coming. Really appreciate it. Yeah, we'll start the meeting stuff for ASB in like at 6:35ish, and then stream. I have an important announcement to make, but I don't think I'll make that until later because it's kind of important. It's a pretty sad one too, but it's fine. Love you, Koi. Oh, there's no desktop audio. Shoot. Okay. Wow, the lighting is bad. What's happening? Like, okay, that's better, I think. Okay. Chat died again. I want to wait until I make the announcements because I want to make sure that people are here for this because otherwise people are going to be really confused. So sorry about the dead air. Is Koi bullying? Koi, what are you doing? To be fair, I feel like everybody's level is a bully at some point, but still, Koi, what happened? Lunch at 6:30 p.m. What happened? You had breakfast at what? 2? Okay, we'll start in 2 minutes. You got home at 5. What are you doing till 5? You don't have volleyball on. Oh, you have late making social. Never mind. Yeah, I'm still sick. That's part of the announcement. Which is, it's honestly, I'm so sad about the announcement, but it's part of the reason why I'm talking. Not as, oh shoot, I'm coughing now. I was not coughing all day. Yeah, I'm probably not going to talk too much, which is the whole point of the announcement. Man, I'm like hinting at the announcement, but I can't say anything until everybody's here, because then it's like, oh, true. I have warm water. Stay hydrated, y'all. Water's good. Do I sound sick? I feel like I sound the same, but I don't feel too sick. I'm just scared it's gonna get worse, because that's what usually happens. Yeah. It's like, I feel relatively normal. Like, my cognitive function is basically normal. I can still enjoy things. I'm not that sick. I feel sick and I feel like things are getting worse if I push things because they have in the past. So we're not going to kill ourselves today. I was using sign language earlier. Cognitive dissonance. It's so fun talking about psych stuff outside of psych. Me and Lan keep talking about like the individuation during like lit and stuff. Okay, 6:35. We're gonna get things started. I'm not sure if David's here. We're only nerds if you don't like only people who don't understand us. Okay, but yeah, call this meeting to order at 6:35 p.m. on what's today? Friday, the 7th of October. First of all, welcome to the stream. If you're noticing, I'm not going to put too much energy into things because I don't want to destroy my larynx. But I guess to kind of touch on the big topic, which is that I'm sick. I got sick sometime, like I've been feeling sick over the past 2 weeks, but last night is when it really got to the point where it's like impairment of function. Before it was just like stuffy nose, that kind of stuff. But now it's at the point where I don't want to speak too much, which leads me to the really significant announcement, which is that I'm actually not going to be running today's stream. Like, of course, Jan's going to be there because the whole point is that the stream is about Jan. But I'm not going to be leading today's interview because even though I can talk right now and I sound fine, already I can feel myself getting much worse. Like, I didn't speak basically the whole today. And before I got home, I was actually feeling great. And then I got home, started talking to family, talking now, not feeling too great. So instead, grand reveal, we have Justin. Justin, if you guys remember, he was on stream, I think, March of last year. He is the graphic designer. By the way, you guys are on. Oh, I'm not muted. Okay. Don't unmute yet, guys. But you guys are on camera. You guys are on stream. So big reveal. Justin. It's kind of sad because I can't put the energy into the announcement. But Justin is our graphic designer. He's gonna be leading today's stream because I cannot speak for long periods of time without irritating myself. So, yeah, that's just the reveal. We will get back to you guys in like a couple of minutes. Just some general reminders also for meeting minutes. First thing is that for the people who cannot make it to the whole stream, the people who can only get to it late, can only stay for a beginning, can't make it at all. If you have friends who can't make it, the VOD, which is a recording of this whole stream, will be posted on our YouTube by this Monday, and timestamps will be up by the following Monday. Our previous streams VOD has been uploaded to YouTube already. It's going to get timestamped by this weekend. So that's just for everybody who doesn't think they can make the whole stream, doesn't think they can make part of the stream or anything. Just so that you guys know, because this stream is probably going to be some time. My guess is probably 2 hours, maybe 2.5 even, depending on how much chat is involved in all of this and also how much Jan is willing to share. Other stuff. Like always, if you guys can't make the stream, if you guys have friends who can't make it to the stream, we have our stream forum. It's in our Linktree. All these links will be in our Linktree, by the way. If I mention anything, I'll add that in right now. That should take you to our Linktree. In our Linktree, we have our stream forum, and that's where you guys can ask any questions. If you guys can't make the stream, if you have friends who have questions but they can't make it to the stream, just tell them to send it through our link forum, which is in our Linktree. That's in our Instagram bio, or you can just check chat right now. Also, we have merch designed by our very own Justin Nguyen. I'm wearing it right now. You guys can see it. The quality's not the greatest. You probably can't see a whole lot of it. And there's a delay, but it's really actually a nice, very, very nice design. Justin actually drew it from scratch himself. Props to him. It's actually just like gorgeous. So that's our merch. You guys should order it. That's also in our Linktree. Payment in cash. We do make a very, very, like, honestly, a negligible amount of money fundraised from that. So if you do want to support us, you guys can support us there. That's probably the easiest way to do so. And the final thing, this is probably a pretty big announcement, and it'll be more formally announced in our Instagram in probably the coming week. But just like Jan, you guys can also, anybody, you don't have to be anybody special. You can come on stream as well. It's called the co-host form. Basically, you guys can just apply, just put in your name, whatever topics you want to talk about, and you guys can come on yourself, join me on stream, assuming I'm not sick like today. But this is actually has been historically much more popular than just the streams where I'm just talking about stuff. And honestly, those streams are significantly more fun for me as well. So I really, really highly recommend that if you're interested at all on being on stream, you can just apply, and worst case scenario, you back out, and that's completely fine, no pressure at all. Another big thing, I'm not sure if you guys have followed us on Instagram or whatnot, but we have our historian applications open right now, and they will be due tomorrow night. All you have to do, turn like just it's your name and you submit a couple pictures showing that you know how to take pictures and that your picture quality, your camera quality, your editing skills, they're up to par for like a club that's relatively small within Marina. And that is due tomorrow night. We'll be choosing our historian over the next couple of days and announcing that probably by the end of next week. So yeah, just some notes. I will still be here. I just won't be talking. It'll be mainly Justin and Jan talking, and Justin will be taking questions from chat. It'll basically just be Justin streaming as if I would. I'm just in the background instead of the main person. And also, this is like you guys can obviously ask Jan like all the questions you want. Just recognize that he does have boundaries and just like try not to get too invasive. He says he's an open book, so that's like if you guys are willing to, just don't like respect boundaries. Like there's a certain line that I think everybody understands is too much. But other than that, I think we can get started. Okay, so you guys are on stream. We're about to start the interview. Can we just start with Justin since like we'll start with Justin's introduction and then we'll go with Jan's introduction and then from there we can start the whole Shazam.
Yeah, I'm Justin, and a lot of people already know me, but some people might not. And I'm just the graphic designer and Dylan's friend since seventh grade, and I'm happy to help. That's it.
Is it my turn?
Yeah,
All right, bet. So my name is Jan. I went to Marina from 2017 or 2016 to 2020. I'm currently a junior here at Vandy. My last year at Vandy, and Dylan was actually one of my Viking Voyage freshmen when I was a senior. I was his what's the term? I'm getting my terms mixed up because they call it differently here at Vandy, but I was his mentor, I think is the term. Um, so I've known him for a while, and then I realized that he actually, um, organized this club at Marina, and I wanted to, contribute back to the community, the place that was able to bring me to Vandy. So
all right. So if I'm just gonna take the handle here, but for high school back at Marina, so is there anything that like stood out to you? Because like you had a pretty special like or unique high school life compared to most people. So is there anything that stood out when you look back, or what was high school generally like? Since your
yeah,
experience was so unique. Yeah.
yeah. So I went to Stacey, uh, and most of my friends at that time actually went to Westminster High School, not Marina. So when I went
Yeah.
to Marina, I was it was kind of a new place for me. Um, it it was an interesting like first 2 years. Like I felt like my first years in Marina were so different from my last few years. Um, like the first 2 years I was kind of messing around, kind of not really. I had like my own family circumstances, but it was it was weird because I started feeling that I wasn't like a good student, even though like historically before that I've had like decent grades, like was in honors, like English or something at Stacey. But like I definitely felt my sophomore year when even though I was in AP classes, I like did not do too hot like in the classes, AP Chem, AP World. Oh, I was good at AP World. I like history, but like AP Chem, I was not too hot at. AP Psych, same thing. But like, after my first 2 years, I felt like a switch was flipped. Um, like I was like I think if there was like a preface or yeah, like I don't know if you guys saw like the preface that they posted on Instagram, but I actually like got like a 2.7 GPA my first semester, my first semester of my sophomore year. So at that point in my life, I was already questioning if I could even like make it to like a university, Like I felt like I've dug myself like in this deep abyss I couldn't take myself out of. But I just like worked hard, Like after that point, I was able to get 4.0s. or 5.0s, whatever like the scale is, like just like all A's, up until like the end of high school. So I guess that like that those like that growth, I guess, the exponential growth in my academic performance was always the thing that I look back to. Because looking back, I don't know how I got like that many C's. Like I feel like now I need to actively try to get C. Like I feel like, like trying in school, like getting an A minus A, it's not that bad. But for some reason, I just didn't, you know, like I just got C's in my freshman and sophomore years. So then I was able to, recover from that. I like worked my butt off trying to redeem myself. Um, and I like, I wasn't sure that like I wasn't sure what schools I was gonna go to. Like for college, I felt like a lot of things were like variable. I just didn't know like where I stood against like the competition, like all the smart kids in my grade. Um, so like when I compared myself to them, I felt kind of crappy. I felt like, like I'd probably have to go do something else, like not go to the 4 year. But, I was able to push myself to the extreme. Um, Definitely not the healthiest mental state in my life. I'll tell you that. My junior senior year of high school, I slept like 3 hours a day, like
Yeah.
during the
Yikes.
school
Yeah.
year. Yeah, so I mean, it's funny because I'd come home at like 5 or 6 p.m. and then I'd eat dinner and then I'd go to sleep, right? Like I go to bed at like 8 and then I wake up at 11 p.m. and then just stay up the whole night and do work and like study up until like 6 when I have to like leave school for my zero period class. And like it worked, like it worked for like back then, but now I can't imagine sleeping less than 6 hours and like functioning well during the waking hours of my day. Like I just can't. And I felt like my tank is like, like my endurance has slowed down. Like I was able to do it back then because it was fresh. Like I didn't like do it yet, but now I'm like exhausted. Like it's caught up to me. Now I feel like tired if I don't like get enough sleep. Um, yeah, like it was like, I was able to like pump, like, like push myself to the extreme, be academically uh excelling my last 2 years, but it definitely came at a cost. Like my mental health definitely was not the best and it like deteriorated. I feel like I'm trying to save my mental health. Like I spent the next like 3 years like trying to fix it and definitely is better now. Like I sleep more, I'm less stressed, I'm less anxious. A lot of things have changed, but I feel like it was in my head, it was like a tiny sacrifice I had to make in order to move forward and, be at a place like Vandy.
Mm. So, when looking back between like sophomore year and junior year, like, do you remember like any specific things that you've like switched in order to like change into that academic mindset?
Yeah, so it was more of like I was driven by like that fear of not going to like a good school in quotations. I put in quotations because I'm a firm believer that any type of education is good, trade school, community, 4 year. I think they're all good options. But back then as a kid, good school to me meant like UCLA, like UCI, like all these schools. So I was already scared of not like getting not ending up in one of them. So that drove me. I guess the second thing would be just I don't know. I started, I guess, thinking very long term. And that was part of my like I remember starting thinking about like law school, which is like the next step in my career, like what I want to do in life, like what just like how I envision like my ideal life to be and compared it to what I had at the moment and I did not. It was not, synonymous. It wasn't didn't mesh together. So then I wanted to improve myself and like I guess practically speaking, um, I just felt motivated by certain people bad mouthing me. Like my peers were very, very like not I wouldn't say toxic, but like just like the words around me were not too kind. So that was extra fuel for me to keep going. I mean, I don't like when I look back, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how to put it in words. Like I don't know why I even like decided to like take all these APs, like, like do like these like crazy stupid things that I myself today can't do anymore. Um, but those three factors were like those I think those three were like a combination of those three was that catalyst for me like switching my mentality like from sophomore year to junior year.
Yeah, I mean, personally, my experience is that I sometimes get like really competitive. So if I can see like visibly be like my grades are like really like declining, and then my friends are like, "Oh, like this test was super easy," and then I got like a really bad grade on it, like it kind of like forces me to like, I gotta like actually like be serious and like study, put the book down. So I
Yeah.
do have something similar to that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like aside from academics, like do you even have time for like other hobbies, or do you have any like other hobbies that you enjoy?
Yeah, so like back then I was very involved with like VSA. Like VSA was my one big thing at Marina. I was part of it as a freshman and then all the way up to to my senior year. And then starting junior year, I was involved with like the bigger umbrella group. It's called VASA, Vietnamese American High School, Vietnamese American High School Association, something like that. It's part of like UVSA, like the bigger college VSA organization. But yeah, I started getting involved with them even more. I want to like give back to my Vietnamese community. I'm only half Vietnamese actually. I had that sense of like wanting to reconnect with that side of that half of me that I wasn't really close to as a kid. I was born in the Philippines, grew up there up until age 10, and then I immigrated. So then most of my life I was basically just Filipino, but starting at Marina, I felt this sense of obligation to, reconnect with being Vietnamese. Not even reconnect, but like, you know, immerse myself in becoming Vietnamese. Like for the first time in my life, actually try like make an effort to be Vietnamese. So I was very like even here, like there is a VSA here at Vandy, and like I helped found it because I was like my experience with VSA and Marina was really, really good. I like the community. I like the purpose of the org, or I mean the club, and it's helped like shape who I am and like the passions that I'm interested in moving forward in my life. And another thing I was really involved in was uh, climate change or climate activism. Um, this doesn't really exist anymore. The pandemic killed it, but back in my junior year, I think but none of you guys were here. Like none
Yeah.
of you guys were there yet because you guys were all like eighth graders. So back in my junior year, a couple of my friends and like two of my best friends, Stuart Holton and Carlos Pareja. Stuart goes to University of Maryland, and then Carlos goes to UC Berkeley. So both really brilliant guys. We all decided to um, at the advice of Zeman or at the pushing of Mr. Zeman, create like this like outside organization. It was called Climate Caring Peeps, and the goal is basically to foment discussion regarding climate activism, climate change. So a lot of the things we did were like strikes outside Marina, and then, like I said, like you guys weren't. I guess we did it like the beginning of freshman year or our senior year. You guys were already there as freshmen, but strikes were the biggest thing. We had strikes by Edinger and Springdale, and then we had strikes on Fridays at the pier. And then more of the behind the scene things were meeting with congressmen. I got to meet former Congressman Harley Ruda, who unfortunately lost to Michelle Steele. I got to meet like mayors, like all these different like local leaders, and then we just talked about like what we can do moving forward, what role the youth has in this movement because it is a youth driven movement, and I feel like at Marina at that time, we didn't feel that sense of, urgency for the climate crisis. Like people were just kind of moving on with their days, not caring about climate change. And Zeman is probably like my most favorite teacher, like college, high school, middle school, elementary combined. Like I think he'll forever be like that teacher I look up to. Like he's changed the way I view the world. He's changed my own life. Like he wrote my recommendation letter for private schools, and he is known to have one of the best recommendation letters that like he's just one of the best writers at Marina. So that was like truly a privilege to have him write for me. But without him, like I feel like a lot of the passion in me today wouldn't be here. Like he was, I'd come after school and talk to him a lot, like A push stuff, and then like when I was freshman, AP, not AP, honors World Geo, but I think that's AP now.
It's
But
AP Hug right now. Yeah.
yeah, AP, yeah. Back then it was like honors Geo, World Geo, but um, I just I just remember like walking in the first day, like of like freshman year, and then the first thing that comes out of his mouth is like a bunch of like explicit like words. And I was like, oh, I like this guy. Like he's a good dude, you know. And that was like it's funny because that was like the 2016 election like era. So like he was very like vulgar
Oh
about.
no, that's the worst.
I remember
Thing.
it's he he's I don't know if we can call him my friend now because he's still like older than me. He's like a mentor, but um he has my number. He has never texted me back, so I don't know his number. So I communicate with him through email. Stuart and I try to go in and like visit him sometimes, but you know, I feel like he's just like a person I really look up to. And I guess hobbies, like going back to the topic, like hobbies, I did spend a lot of my after school hours like going to his classroom and just talking to him, you
Yeah,
know?
that's nice.
So
I
yeah.
mean, he's such a interesting character because I had him freshman year and junior year, and
Uh,
I remember, yeah, I remember in freshman year he did mention about the what you guys did, like the strikes, and he's like,
yeah,
oh, you should go to one. I just never went to one, but I remember him mentioning those, so that's interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, so right now on your, yeah, on your LinkedIn, you mentioned about academic world quest.
Uh,
So uh, yeah, so what was your experience with it, and how did it,
I,
well, did it like effectively help you?
I okay. I have like my own like so like like world classes for there's a junior team and like a senior team, right?
Yeah.
So then when I turned like when I became a junior, Zeman didn't pick anyone for my year, like class of 2020. Instead, that year he took the class of 2019 kids, the people older like a year older than me, and the people younger than me. So like if you guys know like Vivian Nguyen, Vera Lu, like all of them, like they were younger than us. So instead of taking us as the junior team, he took the sophomores instead that time and became the junior team. So I only got 1 year of World Quest. Um, I wasn't too happy when he mentioned that. I was like, oh, like that's kind of a
Wow.
slap to the face. Like you don't like believe in our capabilities. Um, but when I actually was part of it my senior year, like we were the senior team and like the like Vera and them and like Vivian, Hannah Stone, they were like the younger team, but they already had like a year of experience. So we were kind of like the younger team in that sense. Like we were inexperienced, you had no idea how the competition worked. It's basically just like meeting up like every week starting like October to talk about like issues and like study the material. It was a good way to like learn about the things around me and like I'm personally like a very, I read the New York Times every morning. I listen to NPR. Like I'm a very like I like being informed about the world every day. Um, like I'm just a big like history, politics, geography nerd. So like if you a fun activity I actually do is like naming all the capitals of the world in my free time when I'm like bored in class and like I already know the material. Like in my lectures, like 2 days ago, I just like wrote down like all the countries in Asia and like wrote down like all the capitals. So it's something like 30 to do, you know? It's like it keeps my brain stimulated, but it was a good like the experience actually like helped me learn more about the current international affairs. Um, but like I said, I had that like grudge in me. Not grudge, it was just like, like in me, like I was like, oh, like he didn't like believe in us our junior year, and now that we're seniors, we're gonna like prove him wrong, you know? Like we have less experience than the other team. So when we went like that day, when we went to Chapman, I think for the competition, um, I was like sick. I was like really sick. Um, the day before, this was like first week of March of 2020. So you can guess what the context is. So I was like
Oh
really
yeah,
sick, and like the day before, I
plus.
I yeah, I had two big tests. I had a big they're both under Bogar. If you guys probably I feel like you guys know Bogar. He's not there anymore. He's a BC.
Oh,
He
yeah,
was the BC.
he's the old calc guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Don't tell
heard
Mr.
about
No
him.
One, but he's miles better than Nguyen. Anyway,
I mean
um
that's kind of true though. Like only like
uh,
Nguyen only had like a year experience of teaching calc BC, so it's not that fair.
you
But
know,
yeah.
I'm telling you, bro, when I was talking to him about it, like this summer before he had to teach it, I was like, oh, like so like do you remember doing like the Taylor series? It's like, you know, like that topic, and he was like, what is that? I was like, bro, what do you mean what is that? Like
Yeah.
that's like one of the core concepts of Calc BC. So it's okay. You guys will be fine. Or you know, like last
I mean,
year's people were fine.
I have Peach, so for BC.
No
So
offense to him, but I don't think that's any better.
I mean, like he's a stats guy, so I don't
Yeah,
know, but yeah.
definitely. I like Peach. I had him in junior year, but yeah. So anyway, like I had two big exams for like AP Comp Sci and AP Calc BC that day, and then I actually skipped. I skipped, right, and I told him I was sick. But at the time when I wrote the email, I wasn't sick, and then for some reason I internalized that sickness, so that when I woke up the next day on Saturday for the actual competition, I was like really sick. Like, I was coughing nonstop. Like my voice was like all like raspy, and like my temperature was really high. But I had no choice. I had to go. So I went. Um, you know, like I spent like the night studying, and then the actual competition. I thought it was gonna be hard, but our team like killed it. Like at the end, our results, like we were first at like 100 points, and the second place team was like 12 points behind, and that was the other Marina team, like the kids younger than us.
Oh,
So then when that happened, I just looked at the Zeman, and I was like glared at him. I was like this is like you thought we couldn't do it. Like you thought they were better than us. Like you didn't give us like an extra year at this, and look what we did in like the single year we had. Like we were able to like crush everyone. So then I never told him that, but like that was a grudge that I still or that I did hold against him for not trusting us. Um, yeah, and then afterwards, that's when the world started going upside down. So that was like
smoothly.
I'll always remember that like competition because I was sick, came back to school, came back to school that week, that last week before like school ended. I took my test, all that, and on that Thursday actually, before the Friday that we had to go back home, I got sent home. Like they just like sent me home. Like I was supposed to take a test for Bogart, right? Another test, and then he said, "I'm sorry, like Senora Geck, like called me saying that like you should go home, and I think you should go home." So then, like he sent me away, and then when I went to like the nurse, I told them I was sick, and they yelled at me for coming to school for being sick. Because like they were like, oh, like why would you do that? And I was like, bro, I have like two tests today. Like, what do you mean why would you do that? Like, you don't understand why I'm doing it. So then that was my last memory of Marina, like actual memory. And then I remember getting sent home really sick. The next day, everyone celebrated Pi Day. Like everyone was like eating and stuff. And then we all got that email, and then yeah, that was like my last day ever at Marina. Insane to
Yeah.
think about because I always romanticized that it would be a very, you know, like hug my friends, like maybe tear up a little bit, you know, like say bye to like my freshman, sophomore, and like junior friends. But no, like my last day was just getting yelled at by the receptionist at the front.
I also remember the day when like they sent the email and I was in the library and then I saw like a bunch of seniors celebrating like, oh, we don't have to do our like whatever test anymore, but it's kind of funny because they said that like they're gonna send us home for like only like a month, right?
Yeah.
And then like a whole year just passed with just like in like quarantine nonstop. It's kind of it was a
No,
uneventful day. That was kind of
it's
funny though.
I mean, like I know I shouldn't like sulk over it, but I feel like I actually enjoyed my senior year. Like I was looking forward to like you know like solidifying those memories in my head, but like I feel like it just abruptly ended. So in my head, even though I'm 3 years removed from it, I still feel that sadness. Like I'm like I never got that closure. like the graduation
Yeah.
we had was like fake. Like it wasn't like a graduation.
Yeah, I saw
Like
some
it was
of
like a
it. Yeah.
drive-through graduation. And like when I walked up that like mini stage they had, like I just didn't feel like I graduated. And like to this day, I don't feel like I graduated. So that's what I'm looking forward to next, like this coming May when I actually graduate from college, because that will be like the first time I ever graduated in my head.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just
I
like
never, yeah,
I'll never get over it, I think.
yeah. I never really thought about that, about the class of 2020, but
Yeah.
that sucks. Uh, okay. Okay. Let's move to the next topic about applying to colleges. So you've said, or not really said, but like you've applied to 45 colleges, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I it was
Yeah.
that's another extreme idea.
How is that possible?
I don't know, bro. Honestly, it just took a lot of like organization and like time management kind of, but not really, because I did like procrastinate.
Mm.
I spent like winter break like every single day. Like I was like, oh, I gotta write like 6 essays today, and like I'm not going to
Oh
sleep until I
my
like finish like these
God.
essays. So it was
Uh,
like it was it was interesting. I mean, I didn't go into like this process thinking I was gonna apply to 45. Like I was thinking about 20, which is already a lot. I was like, okay, 20, like it's like a lot, but like doable. But I only did 45 because um so I was like, so I'm part of Questbridge, right? Um I applied for like the to be a Questbridge finalist, and then they notified me in October 2019 that I became a finalist. So I was like, oh yeah, like hell yeah, like I get to like have a chance at like getting like matched to like a really good school. So then the 6 schools I put, none of them took me. So I ended up not getting matched in December. So then when that happened the next day, I like pumped out like 20 new schools in my list. I was like, because I didn't get in, I need like a backup plan, because
wow.
at that point, like if you look at my academic profile, it's kind of like a weird thing, like I have C's, and like what kind of Ivy League takes a kid with C's? But like who knows, because I went from like like a 2.7 GPA to like a 5.2 GPA. Like maybe they'll like overlook that part. Like they'll look at the growth instead of looking at the actual numbers itself. So at that point I was really confused. I was like, oh, I don't know, like I need to like machine gun this thing, because that's the only way I'll know like where I stand against like other applicants. So then I applied to like 25 more schools after that, or I had 25 more schools in my list. Um, it was it was a really stressful time, because that was also like the time like finals was like creeping up low key, and then
Uh,
just like
yeah.
a lot of it, like there's so many things going on that like at that time, so it was like really hard on me. Um, I just I think the organization part was like pretty key. Like I have a spreadsheet. Um, I don't know how to show it because I don't, yeah, but like I do have a spreadsheet. It'd be nice if I could show it so I can show you guys like how I organize things. I don't know if that's possible, but I think it gives like a good idea of how, like how you can tackle this process. So
Try to
Um.
make the screen. So do you have it on? Are you on a computer right now, Jen? Or what are you
yeah,
using right
yeah,
now? Okay.
yeah. I'm on that.
Can you open this spreadsheet on that computer?
What was that?
Can you open the spreadsheet on your computer?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Um, this might be. Do you have any personal information on your screen that you don't want people to see? Because you might have
No,
some
it's okay.
information.
I already have one tab open. Like it's just the sheets, so I'm fine.
Okay. So okay. Can you open up Discord to like the video call screen?
Okay, I see it. So
Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
not like a Discord user, so I'm kind of like a
Yeah.
newer.
So
So
Okay,
there's
okay.
like a button that's like a monitor with like an arrow on it. It's like it should be the second button, I
I
think.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so click
Yeah. Share
that,
your screen.
and then there'll be a oh shoot, I'm screening my screen actually. But yeah,
Okay.
and then there's some
Give me
stuff.
one.
Oh shoot, what did I do?
Okay, give me 1 second.
Ah, this went bad.
Yeah. I kind of want to see
Sorry,
this too.
I gotta change my Mac settings real quick.
Okay, yeah, no rush.
I'm not sure if you can see it now.
Yeah, I can see it. Well, I
Okay.
can see it. Pull up, Dylan.
Um,
What happened?
so as you can see, this is, I think that's like a big thing. I feel like everyone should have or should utilize like an Excel or like a spreadsheet to, you know, organize your schools. Um, so this is like my general format. I
Hold up,
color
wait.
coded them based
I
on
can't see it.
like, reach, target, or safety. Red is reach. Uh,
Wait, are you screen
wait, can you
sharing
still
it?
see it? Sorry.
No, it might be. I think it's
Oh,
on my side.
I can
Okay,
see
so
it.
is it back?
Um, I don't even know what happened. Like, I don't see us
Let
in.
me see it.
Hold on, let me change my settings. I think there's a setting that's messed up right now.
Yo,
Sorry.
try to pop it out.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
No,
You-
I think it's one of. It's one of my. Yeah, it's one of my settings. Okay.
Yeah, but this is really organized.
Yeah,
I
yeah, like I mean, so like I have like like you can see the tiny ones like here it says oh, can you see it? I don't know if you
hold up. It's
you
loading.
can still see it, right?
Right now, it's loading. It's also because my computer is like burning right now. Because I don't. My computer's not that strong, so it might. Okay, there you go. We're good.
You can see it?
Yep.
Wait, we're good to go, right?
Yeah, we're good to go.
yeah, I think we're good.
Okay. Yeah, so like you can see
Wow.
like Kiwi partners, these are like the Questbridge schools or like schools that have like a Questbridge partnership. So then like I had like a big list from them. And that's the reason why I was able to apply to so many. Through Questbridge, I didn't have to pay like a single penny, like not a single
Mm,
dollar for application fees. Like all, I don't know how many schools, like 35 schools here for free. So then I got my IVs here that were part of the of Questbridge, all reaches, obviously. Then I got my non-IVs. Yellow is target, green is safety. But don't take it to like personally if like you see like UCI as a safety. I just had to categorize it somewhere. I don't think UCI is a safety school or
you see, I said
UCSD.
safety. Dang, what a
But
flag.
yeah, like and I had other schools that just weren't part of either. But yeah, I think for application fees, I only had to pay for the extra UC school because I know you get four free ones, but the last one I really wanted to apply to like a fifth school just because I was scared of not getting in anywhere. So I paid like 70 for that I think. And then for the I don't think I paid for any of these because these are on the Common App. Um, yeah, but I think organizing is a good way to be able to stay on track on of things. I mean, like I put I well this is like these have all like changed. Like these were like the acceptance rates back when I applied. These are probably like 4%, like like these are all probably lower, unfortunately for you guys. Um, like I mean I'm like just looking at it. Like there's no way you guys like still at 27%. Or like NYU's at like 10% now. But and then when we had like standardized test scores as like non-optional, like we had to take it, I like had to put them down to see like where I stood. And then these are just like dates right here. So like it only applied to the Questbridge schools, like when I needed to turn in my match application. And it was pretty early. It was like November 1st. Um, that was also a really tough time. It was like right before Halloween. I didn't go to school for Halloween because I ended up like working on these applications and like I kind of regret not going because that was probably like a missed opportunity. Like a lot of people were like, like the last time I'd see my friends like dress up. And then I have
There's a
a
lot of
regular
funny stuff.
decision. Huh?
There's a lot of funny stuff in back my freshman year. Like maybe
Yeah.
like every single year, and like it's always like I see something like a handful of people. It's like the most ridiculous things ever. But
I know I regret it, bro, but I don't I gotta move on, I guess. And I have my regular decision dates here. As you can see, a lot of them were like January 1st. So I spent my Christmas and New Year celebrations working on my essays. I actually didn't expect to finish all of them, Like I was applying to like 45 schools, but I didn't think I'd finish applying to all 45, but I ended up doing it, I guess, just pulling through. And then the type of app would be important too. For at least for Marina kids' sake, it's usually going to be like the UC app mostly. Common App if you want to apply for like private schools. Um, uh, I think if you are doing the Common App, like starting on the details now would be good. Like you don't have to write your essays yet, but I think filling out like like what activities did you do, your grades, like your personal info, so that when you actually turn it um, in January, it won't be like like a rush for you to do so. And then this is probably like one of the more important columns. Some schools don't have extra essays, like they're in red, but most of them did have extra essays. So then I will switch to my other tab where these are just like half the essays I had, but these were like, yeah, like these were like half the essays I had to write for like the schools I applied to, like all the supplements. Like I I don't know how I was pumping out like so many essays, um, like back in my senior year, but I wrote so much. Like I I put like the date it was due, the prompt, and then like my answers here. Uh, like I just wrote so many. Like I don't know how I did it. um, but I'm like I like writing. Like like I like writing essays. I'm just like a I just like writing, putting my thoughts into words. It's like a big thing. So I guess that helped. But it was definitely like tiring. Like I got tired and like I just didn't know how to finish certain essays. Uh, but I mean, you can see where I like where my climate change, like climate activism, uh, climate activism, like passion comes into play here. Like I talk about like climate action now, and like their prompt was about like the breadth of intellectual opportunities, and then and they asked me for like some of them are kind of quirky. They asked for like an image, let's say, like Bryce has like like they ask applicants to submit like a meaningful image, and I obviously submitted like the Paris climate protests at that time in 2019, but they still rejected me, so I don't want to talk about Rice right now.
I guess they hate
Um,
the environment, man. I'm sorry.
it's fine. Who wants to live in Houston anyway? Um, but yeah, like I think just getting your essays organized too is good. You can see like the format I had, like kind of color coded it, makes it easy for me to look for things when I'm, like super stressed, like a lot of things going on. I just need to like edit essays, um, and then like just kind of have like a simple format, different things here. All these schools, like some of these schools are like actually like they give you a poem, pick up a line, and then write about the line, and like that took like some time thinking.
That
Um,
is weird. They actually do
yeah,
that? Oh.
it's I don't know. Some of them are pretty quirky. But to be fair, I feel like most of them are pretty doable. Like it's nothing like any of you can't do. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I think just making sure if the school has an extra essay, usually if you're applying through like the Common App, like you have like a big essay. I'm sure all of you are familiar with that already. Like the 650 word essay that you have to turn in. And then some schools ask for like a specific prompt about their school. Um, Ironically, the school I go to now didn't have a supplement, so I never expected to end up at Vandy because I
Oh.
felt like, you know, because as a Questbridge kid, at least for Vandy, Questbridge applicants didn't have to turn in a supplemental essay, but like everyone else here did. So like 90% of the kids I go to school with, they all like wrote an essay, but I didn't like write a Vandy specific essay. And then like the dreadful interviews that you might have to take. You can see the dates I had. Like this one was like at Starbucks by Westminster, um, the 28th of December for Tufts. I still remember this interview. It was pretty fun, pretty fun. This one, Starbucks at Westminster again, Georgetown. Also pretty fun, same Starbucks. And then my Harvard interview, which I thought was like it was like the longest one, the most brain intensive one. It was at like the corner bakery place at Bellaterra. That was like 3 hours long. Um, but it was
Oh,
already okay going in for that interview specifically. Going in, I already knew I was gonna have like some trouble because the guy interviewing me was an executive at like an oil company based in Newport. And then if I was gonna talk about my climate like
that's not
activism
gonna work.
passion, like conflicted. So like when we were talking, like there were times where he'd like press me over it, like force me to like defend like my position. I was like, yeah, like like this is what happens. I was like, I think we should transition away from oil. And then he's like, okay, like that's good. So that's why it took 3 hours. It was a lot of like back and forth and like talking and like trying to like tell him like this is my passion, but like don't feel offended. Like I know you're
Oh,
like a pro oil person, but like this is like I like Harvard is here to know about me. Like it's not about like you and I. It's like like our differences. Um, but yeah, I had like a handful of interviews, but um, this one was actually because this was pretty late in the cycle, the Princeton one. Um, it was because I was at the border, I think, like between in or out. So they called me. I didn't get in, so you can tell how the interview went that day. Um, and then what is this tab? Forgot something about Questbridge. And then like I had to like send scores for like the SAT and stuff. So like some schools asked for them, some didn't. Georgetown asked for AP scores too, but I guess I had it was nice for me because since I was low income, I had the benefit of like having all these like free applications, free test scores like being sent. So like it was easy for me to apply to these many schools, but I know it definitely was a privilege in that sense for me to apply to the like like all 45 schools. Like even like 10 is a lot for your typical middle class family, and I
yeah.
understand that. So like this is by no means like a standard that you should aim for. And then these are like important notes. I had to submit like a peer recommendation, and then I asked one of my friends to write it about me. Um, let's see. There's a video response for this is Claremont McKenna that I had to turn in. I remember filming it after finals in January. Um, there's like a lot of like like I guess keeping yourself informed about the different schools. If you're applying to a lot of schools, like you need to know that every school is not the same. You're gonna need to do different things for different schools. Some schools might ask you for more, some schools might ask you for less, just so you're organized. Without the sheet, like the spreadsheet, I wouldn't have been able to do it, um, you know, while keeping myself sane at the same time. And these are like the portals, like the college portals. I know people like don't know their portals a day of decision day and like they always ask other people, but I want to stay ready, like all these portals and stuff. And then like, I mean, I can't log in anymore to some of these. I mean, let me try. Like, feel like, yeah, like it's like changed. So like I can't do anymore, but it's like easy to do. There's like scholarships too, but yeah. And then financial aid, which is, pretty relevant to all of us. Like we're not part of the 1%. This is more confusing probably to see. Like you got FAFSA, if you guys know what CSS is, profile, and then the iDoc thing to turn in your tax returns. This took the longest to organize because FAFSA only lets you send 10 schools at a time, right? Per like
Yeah.
document. So then I had to separate them into batches. So like the first batch, second batch, third batch, because I was applying to so many. So then I like organized them to make sure I wasn't missing a school. You got like the first batch, second batch, third batch. The Questbridge schools are fine. And then I like made sure like if I received them or not, like XXX, like blah blah. Um, and then there's like some of them like ask for like a physical, or not like I forgot which school, but there here, like Boston College asked for a physical form, so I'm gonna do that. Like bring myself to the post office and like send that. And the usage is pretty easy, but also like like financial aid's also like one thing that's kind of daunting. I remember filling out all these forms myself because my parents don't speak English that well. Um, like they don't know what FAFSA is. Like they don't know what these things are, so I would do everything myself. And like I think the CSS profile is like more of a pain in the butt to do because it asks for like like it asks for like your car, like how much your parents' car costs, and it's like how am I supposed to know that? Like you want me to know how much my family car costs? Like they probably don't know themselves, you know. And they ask for like certain like weird assets. Like they ask for like your parents' stock portfolio, and it's like they probably don't know their 401k like data, you know. Like they just give into it like every month when they get their salary. They don't know how much it's like worth now. So it was painful to do. And this is even more painful, just like turning in like you're like trying to like asking your parents for the tax returns, and then they are like very like protective of it. Like they're like, oh, like why do you need it? You know, like my social security's on it. Like I don't want to give it to you, and like just back and forth, especially with like you know like immigrant parents, like Asian parents. You know, like it's pretty relevant for like the Asian American community. Like our parents like don't really understand like how college admissions work in America. So it was definitely really hard. And then yeah, I mean for applying that was it. Um, you got my result. You can see how I did. I grouped them into like safeties, targets, and then reaches. You can see
Like
this
scary.
is this is a lot of rejections. It definitely hurt a lot. I already expected it because you know like it's hard getting into like Yale, and Yale was like my absolute dream school. Like growing up, it was always Yale, Yale, Yale. Like I want to get into Yale. I want to go. So seeing them reject me twice in December and then March hurt the most. Um, but yeah, I think this is more of like just um, I just want to organize things. I'm like a very organized person, so like I put everything. And then you can see how many like I got 21 rejections, 13 wait lists, and then 11 acceptances. So definitely was all over the place. Um, I mean, you can look and see like you know like based on like the story that you've heard of me, and like see the schools I got into or didn't get into. You can see like I guess you can kind of see like what kind of applicant I was. I was kind of confusing as an applicant because I would get all the like I didn't like I got into Berkeley and LA, but I didn't get into Santa Barbara or UCI. So like it was really confusing. Like when I got my
Yeah,
UCI acceptance, I was like what is this? Like I'm confused. And then Santa Barbara too, I was like fuck. Or
yeah,
sorry, I did not mean to say that.
You're good. You're good. You're good.
yeah, but
Like I
they're kind of random.
yeah, like it was like really random. Like I got into like Claremont McKenna, and I was like I didn't even expect to get into Claremont McKenna. Like that's insane. Or like Emory and Vandy were like the most surprising ones to me because I didn't see myself in the South. Like in my head, I'm like Northeast or like the West Coast, like probably not in the South. And like Emory's in Atlanta. So when I got into Emory, I was like, wow, like that's crazy. And then when I got into Vandy, I was like, wow, that's even crazier. Because you can see on the side, like I have my personal ranks. R1, R1 means like first in the reach section, like second in the reach section, and then like target, like first in the target section. And then the bold is like the overall rank. Like I know it's like pretty like OCD of me, but like that's how I wanted to organize my things. But these were top five schools, and I only got into three of them out of the five, um, which is okay, pretty good, 60% hit rate for me. Um, yeah, um, this was during quarantine when I compiled this, and it's just nice to see. And then when I got accepted, of course, I had to put down like the costs of the school. Uh, the UCs are the cheapest, but you can see Claremont McKenna cost the most, I think. Or I guess Wesleyan costs more, but Claremont McKenna cost like 80K. But then I was able to get a full ride at Claremont McKenna. I got into like I forgot what program. It was like the joint, like it was like a joint something program, and it was like really prestigious. And like I was honestly debating like going to Claremont McKenna too, because I didn't realize like how prestigious that like scholarship was. I was also able to get a full ride from George Washington, but I didn't really want to go to George Washington. And then Vandy was like the big like you know like it was like the big thing that stood out. Like it was like a reach school I got into, and then they gave me a full ride. Like it was something I couldn't like turn down. The UCs were a bit like pricey, like 11K for UCLA, 8K for Berkeley. Like it is like reasonable, but you know I have low income parents. Like 8K loans every year is like a lot. for us. So I didn't consider going, but in the end, I ended up picking Vanderbilt because Vandy is a good school. And then I have my this is like after I got in, I got my AP credits. Like I had to figure out like what they took, what they didn't take. Berkeley was the least generous. UCLA was the most generous out of these. Um, like it sucks because like psych and like apes like AP psych AP like AP apes. I mean like those two like AP tests were kind of like useless, I guess. Like I didn't get any credit from them. Same with like geo or like even geography. Chem, I'm like kind of I was kind of pissed that this wasn't part of it because I like worked my butt off trying to, like get a 4 on the AP test. Like that was already like a big achievement for me, and like for Vandy or Berkeley not to take them, it was pretty painful. But yeah, just like kept myself organized. These are like the like if I went to UCLA, I would have been like a junior already going in. Um,
Wow.
so I was gonna my plan was to go to UCLA and graduate in 2 years, but I ended up not going to UCLA, so like that plan is like scrapped. So then I went to Vandy. They capped it at 18 like units, if you guys understand what units are. Um, but then I transferred like okay, each university has like different schools within them, if that makes sense. So like let's take UCI. UCI has like a school of engineering, a school of I don't know, math or something, like some like tiny schools. While Vandy we have 4 schools. You got the arts and sciences, which is like the main school. You got the School of Engineering. You got Peabody College, which is like the education school, and then you got the Blair School of Music, like for musicians. So I moved from the big school, like the standard school, to like Peabody, like the education school, because I wasn't like I already wanted to graduate early, um, and then by moving to Peabody College, I could I could get rid of this cap. Like they didn't take caps. So when I went and I had 18, but then when I moved to Peabody, I ended up getting like 60 units. So I was already like like a junior at that point when I went in. So like it was a good to have. Um, and this is like the last one is just kind of comparing the 3 schools I was considering: Vandy, Berkeley, UCLA, like the majors, the mean GPA, because I am pre-law, so like uh GPA is like 50% of your admission status for law school. So it like mattered to me like how hard the school was. Ratios, race. You can see that I went to a very PWI school. Not a lot of people like me here. Uh, yeah, and like just like stuff at BND. Looking back, it's kind of crazy because I've lived through like I know how it works now, but then like I remember writing this and it's like it was so foreign to me. But now it's like it's like I'm used to it now. Like I understand how these things work. Like, Uber costing like 50 or not 50, 30 from here to like the Nashville airport, stuff like that. So yeah, I think I think that's it for my spreadsheets for now. I think
I,
yeah,
Would you be willing
I
to
what
think
was
share
the last
if
one?
you
those?
guys have any questions, huh?
Would you be
That was
willing
the
to share those, or are these too
all
personal?
the
Wait, what?
Are you willing to share these, or are these too personal to share? Because I think these would be useful if you'd be willing to
Oh,
share them.
I can definitely like share them. I mean, I don't think I need to like redact anything. If I do, like I'll do it, but I can definitely like share like the format at least, at the very least.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's like helpful for people like applying to college. Like my brother used this last year when he applied. My
Wait,
my
okay.
girlfriend used this when she applied, and my girlfriend's sister used this when she applied. Like I think it's a useful like format to have for applying to college. So yeah, I can definitely share that. Just remind me to do so
Okay.
in case I don't remember to write down.
Okay. Thank you. Um. Okay, you guys can continue. Sorry.
But if you guys have any questions, like, I can always go back and like elaborate on things, like any thoughts, comments about it.
like I have a personal like not really a personal question, but like what was your like capped tuition like you're willing to pay for college?
5,000. which is 20,000 total over 4 years. But like, okay, like the reason why I picked Vandy was not because I wanted like if we hold money constant, like money doesn't like matter. I would have gone to Cal with my best friend Carlos because he also got into Cal and like we're supposed to live our lives together. But because money was such a big issue and I can't just ignore it, like money, I went to Vandy instead because it's free. Like, not only is it free, like I get paid to come here. It's like it's nice to have like that money like in my pocket, to spend on like a MacBook or like just like things that like can help further my education, like a PS4, for instance. I'm kidding.
Super helpful. Yeah, I get that.
Um, but um, I it was like okay, my parents already sacrificed a lot. My dad is a boat person, a refugee from the Vietnam War. My mom was a poor girl in the Philippines, and they already sacrificed so much of their time and like energy in their body to like giving us even just the opportunity to apply for colleges, something they didn't have the chance to do so. So at the very least, like my way of paying them back was going to like that cheapest school, even though it wasn't the school I wanted to go to. Like my heart wasn't saying Vandy, like 100%. It was the cheapest school, and like it's okay for me to be uncomfortable at like a new place. Like it's okay to like go to the south. Like it's okay to like try this new place because they did their part. I think it's my time to do my part. Like I can't see them paying like 8,000, 5,000, 8,000 a year out of my own comfort. So it was like in my like that was my line of reasoning when I had to decide to go to or had to decide on picking a college. Um, and I will say I don't hate Vandy. I like Vandy. I love Vandy. Although it was hard transitioning at first, I love Vandy. I mean, I'm kind of sad actually that I'm leaving. So, um, yeah. But if, I can answer any questions, by the way. Like Dylan said, I'm an open book mostly. Um, but yeah.
Yeah, just a reminder for the chat to ask more questions, because if as he said, he's an open book. But I was wondering myself, like, how's life in Tennessee? Like, how do you like it there?
Oh,
Like, anything
Tennessee's
notable?
boring, guys.
Oh, really?
If you want me to be blunt, like I guess it's privileged for me to say because I came from OC. Like we're from OC. OC is a very like active place. Like you want the beach is right there. You want the mountains are right there. Like you want good food's right there. Like there's so many things to do. But then here, not only do I not have a car to go around with, I it's like there's only one thing that people do here in Nashville, and it's get drunk, you know? And like legally speaking, I'm not a big fan of that. Like I'm I'm totally against that. But um uh it's like fun to an extent, but I don't think like just every week like if you go every weekend and like just get like drunk out of your mind, I don't think that's really fun. Like at least in OC, if you do that, you have other options to do. Like if you go to UCI, for example, like there's so many things that you have the University Town Center or something like across the street. And then here we don't have anything. Like we have a CVS next to Vandy that sells like overpriced milk, for instance. Like I think Nashville's pretty I think Nashville is okay because it still is it's like the fastest growing city in America. So it's in that weird like limbo stage where it's like everything's under construction here. Like everywhere I walk, like Vandy's under construction, the city's under construction. Um, just everything is like noisy around here, and it's because they're building for 20 years from now when I'm not here. So it's unfortunate to have to come to Nashville at a time when they're trying to transition to like becoming the next New York or like the next LA. But I think like I don't hate Nashville. I feel the way I do about Nashville is like I feel that way because I come from OC. Like if you're from like Podunk, like Tennessee, like the middle of nowhere, then Nashville is like the best place on earth. And I can appreciate that perspective. But for me, I need to recognize that there's nothing much for me to do here except like eat like mediocre food and drink water, you know, like these things are very these things are very just okay. But I think Vandy is a bubble in itself. Like there definitely is like a bubble between like Vandy and like Nashville. Like we have our own crap here at Vandy, so it's like fun inside. But once you leave, you can see like the culture shock. Like everyone has a southern accent downtown. Everyone wears cowboy hats. Like the stereotype is true. Like girls wear their boots and guys like carry like handguns with their hats. Like it's all true. And it's like a very serious culture shock that I still like, deal with to this day.
Oh, it's pretty interesting. Well, I gotta like look at the chat for
Alright,
questions.
yeah.
Wait, Too Lit to Sit Fam said or asked if you knew that the pandemic was coming, would you have done anything different during senior year?
Um, I would have I would have spent February just spending like the time with like okay, not for like I spend time with my friends now. Like, they'll forever be my friends. But like, those people in your classes that you meet, like you're not like you're friends, but not really. Like you
Yeah,
hang out only because like you're in the same class. Well, that's like the one thing that like makes me sad because I never got to say bye to those people. Like I don't have their phone numbers, some of them don't have social media. And like I just never got a chance to like tell them like how grateful I was to have them in my life. Like even though we're moving on with our lives, like you guys were like a big part of like my short life. Um so I definitely would have like reached out to some of them and like gotten closer with them, but you know, looking back like 2.5 years later, it's like I I can't do anything about it. Like there's some people still like I think about, I'm like, huh, like I don't know what they're doing now. And like I'd love to like reconnect with them. But I can't because I don't have their contacts. Like they're pretty like incognito. They go to like UCI or something, and like there's too many people at UCI. Like I don't know how to like contact them. So I think that would be like one of the biggest things. Just like spending less stressing about like college because I spent like even February like thinking about like did I apply to enough schools? Like should I like pump it up to 50, Like I got like UMich, like University of Michigan still had their application open like February 1st. Like maybe I should like do that, like all these schools, but then I don't know. I feel like I should have given myself like that mental break and like just spend the last like few months like reconnecting with not reconnecting, but like strengthening my bonds with the people around me.
Mm. Well, wait, did you do badminton in high school?
Yeah, I did do badminton. That's why like me and Mr. like I can talk bad about Mr. Nguyen because
Oh,
he
okay.
was one. Yeah.
Yeah, how was the team back then?
Uh,
It's like,
when I came freshman year, it was probably the best team. Like when I was a freshman, when I was a freshman in 2017 or 2016, 2017 year, like that was probably the best I've ever seen Marina badminton. Like,
dang.
like it was like if you got Cerritos and Westminster, then you got like us at third with like Gar or whatever school it was. But I felt like it progressively got worse. But I feel like the team got closer. Like we got worse, but like the teams subsequently got closer. Like we like shared that bond, like getting worse and worse.
Oh, wow. Wait, did you just a quick question. Did you remember someone named Sean in the badminton, or he might be too old? I don't know.
No, I know Sean. Yeah, he's like a year older than me.
Oh, really?
Wait,
Wait, Sean, which
wait,
one?
Sean?
Sean
Does
Lee.
Sean have a
Okay.
girlfriend?
He's
You know,
he's like in his mid 20s right now, so I'm
Sean.
not sure.
I only know one Sean. He's like
Oh
really
yeah,
good
he
at
was.
badminton.
He told me that he was like top one, but I think he was too old. I was just curious. Cause I know him.
And just
Uh,
wait. Okay, now I'm good. Wait.
I think he's
He's
too
Viet,
old.
right?
Yeah, he's Viet. Viet. He's like can't really describe him because, mm, but I remember him saying that he was like top one, and he had problems with Mr. Nguyen. But
I feel like we're talking about
yeah,
the same Sean.
nah, I think he was. I think he's like 25 25 now.
Okay, never
24.
mind. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
he graduated from UC San Diego like
yeah, that's the wrong
a
shot.
year. I think yeah,
Yeah,
I think he's
yeah.
too old. Alright. I was just curious. Let me see if there's more questions. Some of them like we already kind of touched upon, like some of the schools that you applied to, like due to like financial circumstances, you've applied to them like for free, right?
Yeah, so like I'd say out of the 45 schools I applied to, 40 of them were free because I am a low income American,
Yeah.
which is like
That,
nice to have. I mean, like I was in that position to utilize it. And then my line of reasoning was that, like if I'm gonna have like if I'm gonna have the opportunities that a lot of people don't have, then might as well exploit it. Not exploit, but like use it, because if not, it's gonna be a waste. Like I have time to write these essays. I have time to apply. Like I have the mental capacity to deal with like the stress that comes with it. I think I should have done like I should do it, and then I did it.
I had a personal question from you guys were talking about like
all right.
if you had known the
So
pandemic. Shoot, am I muted?
all right.
All right, sorry. But we were talking about how like if you knew the
Yeah.
pandemic was coming, you would have like spent more time with your classmates. Do you have recommendations for like current seniors? Because obviously, well, hopefully, pandemic doesn't come again. But do you have like general recommendations to not regret senior year?
Yeah. I think from the get-go, I feel like you if you don't already, you should kind of know who the ones you're leaving. Like once you leave high school, you'll have that like few friends that you'll probably be friends with the rest of your life. And I feel like it's like both like something you know within you and like something that like I guess you have to actively work for. Um, I mean, like for my own life, I say I still talk to like four or five people like uh consistently since high school, like we all go to different schools, but we still like talk a lot. Um, Another thing is I guess like not stressing out too much. That's pretty cliche, pretty hypocritical of me to say too, because I didn't do the same, but I feel like that took away from like just enjoying the moment because you know, in retrospect, like in that moment, I wasn't thinking of like October 2019. I was thinking of October 2020. Like I was thinking about like my life in my future school. I was thinking of like, oh, like I want to live here. Like I want to go to school here. Like I love the professors here. But what about the teachers I have now? Like I should have, like made an effort to be closer to them. What about the people around me? Like I should have made an effort to befriend like some of these acquaintances. Just being, I guess being aware that sometimes you're looking forward too much. Like you just gotta understand that you need to, live the present life. Live like, I mean, if you're gonna keep looking forward into the future, you're gonna miss the happy things that happen in front of you. And that's how I realized because of the pandemic. Like the pandemic made me realize that in the moment I didn't appreciate like the tiny things happening in front of me, like the little like conversations I had, like a random person at Marina, like or like at the library. Like I didn't appreciate them, but like looking back, it's like wow, like that made my day that day. Or like, like they gave me this like really cool like idea to do for the weekend, stuff like that. And, like I don't regret in life, or I try not to regret in life, but like it's something that like kind of like still irks me that I I was too focused on my life now, like in 2022, like 2021, that I forgot about my life in like in the current um days of my life. Like it was, I don't know, like it's gonna be ambitious, but I think just slow down a little bit because remember, life, I mean, the trajectory of life is pretty short compared to like everything in the universe. And like I'm like talking like a hippie right now, but I think what I'm trying to say is that, like it's okay to, take the Saturday off and like just enjoy it. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like in the long term, it won't hurt you because, like it doesn't matter if you take that Saturday off. You'll still finish your work, let's say, like be able to write that extra essay. And that's how I like live my life now. I like try to enjoy like the things going on right now in my life. Um, Even though I still like, I'm kind of parallel. Like this would be my senior year technically, even though I'm a junior. I kind of parallel my experience now versus my experience back in at Marina 3 years ago. Like I'm seeing myself like looking forward too much a little bit, but then at least the difference is that now I can reel myself back in and be like, okay, like just chill out, kind of like don't think too far ahead. Like you still have friends here that care about you. Like this place cares about you, and like you can't take that for granted. Because if you're gonna enjoy life in retrospect, then that hurts. Like it just hurts. Like it'll make you regret like the things you've done in life. So enjoying it now than later is better, like for your mental health.
Okay, thank you. That was
Yeah.
that was nice.
Sometimes we're just too stressed. Yeah. Stop
Yeah.
stressing out, Dylan.
No, it's funny because like I don't know if it's yeah, it feels like so senior year I've really kicked it back. I'm not. I feel like I should be a lot more stressed. I really slacked off on college apps. I still haven't started, and like I was supposed to start in June, and I told myself I would start in June, and every day I'd open the computer
Dude,
and then
all the
close
way
it.
back in June.
I know, right? Yeah, you'd expect me to get stuff done, but no. But I don't know. So you talked about like enjoying the present, and it's funny because I feel like I am, but there's this part of me that's like noticing that time seems to be going by faster than it used to, or I don't know if it's like I don't know what it is, but it feels like even though I'm enjoying the present, it's going by so fast, and I can't even remember what I enjoyed. Because I remember I did enjoy the present, and I still do.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't remember what I enjoyed, or I can't relive it at all.
I think um I can I can I can kind of relate. Like I feel like time is going by really fast for me right now. Like at a t like especially when I want to slow down a bit. Like I want to enjoy my last year here, but like it's going by like in droves. Like each week like it just goes by really quick, and I think it's hard because there's like constraints on us. Like we're like society is pushing us to always keep like moving on. Like think about the next step. Like while we are aware that we need to stay in the present, it's hard because just society in general probably won't let us stay in the present. Because if like if everyone is a step ahead of their game, then and if you're just like staying put, then you're falling behind, let's say. And I guess it's that fear of like falling behind, that's driving like like you can't enjoy the present because you feel like there's something wrong with enjoying the present. And I think there shouldn't be anything wrong with like enjoying the present day. Like I think you should cut yourself some slack and understand that like you like Dylan, like you're a really smart kid. Like I believe in you. Like I believe that you're gonna get into Harvard. Like that's
Okay,
how high I
thank
am.
you, but
Of you.
no.
UCLA safety school, bro.
Like
Actually,
like
though.
just understand like it's like you're not behind. I don't think anyone is behind in terms of like applying to college, for example. Like if you want to hear my story, like I didn't start applying or I didn't start writing my or doing my like UC apps until like 2 days before it was due in November. And like for the whole month, I felt like I was behind because I was
Mhm.
too focused on like other things, like my other college apps. But I don't think anyone is behind until that deadline hits. You're never behind. You're only
It's true.
behind if the deadline passes. Like until then, you're still on time. So I think you should, you know, give yourself a break. Don't beat yourself up too much. I know you'll get it done. Like I trust that you can crank out an essay in like a day, and any of you can. If I can do it, I mean, come on, guys. Like I got C's. Like this is a dumb kid talking. Like everyone else can do it.
That's nice. That's nice to
Thank you.
hear.
Yeah, yeah, it feels good to hear that.
Good job, Dylan.
Thank you.
You're doing great.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
not supposed to be talking. I realize now. Ah, shoot, man.
Uh, is your voice good, Dylan?
Yeah, I feel fine. I just don't want it to get worse. I have a tennis tournament tomorrow too, and I was supposed to hang out with friends on Saturday.
Really?
And I had the tea
Oh,
club thing Sunday night, and then I was supposed to play League with friends again on
bro.
Sunday.
Why are
And
you
then
so
I got
busy?
sick. I'm so pissed that I got sick. And I'm not supposed to be talking right now, but it feels
Yeah.
good to talk.
Just
I
let
didn't
it
talk
out.
all of today.
Just let it out.
Like at school, I did not talk at all. It
Oh,
feels good to talk. And
okay.
also, Jen,
I'm a big
no, you're such a I don't know, like I didn't get to say this all the time, but like you're such like an iconic role model. I swear, like like
Icon.
like just like okay from text, right? I already got like, oh my god, this guy's crazy. But like just seeing the spreadsheet, seeing you talk, and then like I don't know why, but like when you smile, it feels so genuine and like authentic, and it's
Appreciate that.
yeah, I don't know, it's like it feels so surreal.
I mean, I feel the same way about you, Dylan. Honestly, though,
That feels weird.
Yeah, Dylan.
I'm kind of like already there, in my
I know, but
opinion.
like it's weird because I'm living with me, and then like I see me like struggle, and then I see Jan, and then it's like wow, because like because
I
like
think
I can see how other people might look at like my position, and like I understand that position, and I understand that Jan is basically like she's just further ahead, but it just feels like I don't know how I would maintain me into the future, because like I
Uh,
spent the summer just recovering from burnout. Like I was looking at Stanford apps, and they're like, oh, talk about the stuff you did the past 2 summers, and I spent the last summer not doing a single thing. Like I spent the first month forgetting how to wake up on time, and then spent the second month remembering how to wake up on time. Like it was so bad. Like I lost everything, and I don't know what to write on that because like I actually didn't get anything done. Because the 2 years before that, I was like I don't even know how, but I was like insanely productive, and like I just lost that almost, and I don't know how. Like I'm not actually beating myself up for it. I'm actually not particularly worried. I'm just confused why I'm not worried.
mm,
I don't. It's okay to not worry. Like I don't think there's inherently wrong in not being like stressed. Like I know some people like have that feeling where it's like they finish all their homework, but then they feel stressed because they're not stressed about anything. And it's like you shouldn't be stressed. Like I understand that feeling. Like trust me, I do. Like I feel the same way. Like even here, like whenever I finish my stuff for the weekend, like when I do my work, like let's say like Friday afternoon, and I finish all my stuff, like I still feel stressed because I feel like I'm missing something maybe or something like that. But I think I like I said, like there is no such thing as like falling behind. Like I think we're so conditioned to think that like everything's a competition, like it's you versus those people around you that like you forget to realize that maybe not everything is a competition, you know? Like everything's just relative to each other. They might be like ahead of you, like they already wrote their essays, but what really matters is the quality of those essays. And you can write a quality essay in 30 minutes if you really, could do it. Um, I guess the only thing that matters is like the application thing, like filling out the stuff, like that takes like a long time. It's like kind of annoying to do. But like if we're talking about like the more qualitative parts of your application, like that shouldn't be an issue. Like I trust like any of you can write. Like if you're given 2 hours to write like your like a story of your life, you can probably do it.
mm,
That pressure is a good thing a little bit. Not to the point where it stresses you out, but like it gets your creative juices going. Like I wrote my best essays at like 3 a.m., like on a Tuesday night before school. Like that's when I felt pressured. Like I just looked at the clock. I was like, oh, like I gotta finish my like optimization like problem or something like for calc. Like
Mm.
that's how I function. Um, but recovering from burnout isn't like you shouldn't see that as like a bad thing or not a bad thing, but just seeing it as like like it's a bad alternative to you like doing your college apps instead because like it isn't like you're in the long term you're doing yourself a favor. You're like you're preventing yourself from like suffering from further burnout like you're in college and beyond. Because trust me, like burnout is hitting me. Like I did all that crazy stuff in high school and it came back to bite me and it comes back to bite me actually. Like I can't function under 7 hours of sleep anymore when I could have done it in 3 hours in high school. Like I can't like it takes me more effort to like study now than it did in high school. And it's because I feel like I just feel exhausted inside. Like there's something in me that hasn't like recovered from what I did in high school. And it sucks knowing that I like hurt myself doing that. But that was the only way I could redeem myself and be at like Vandy, for instance. Like that's why I'm like, I'm trying to utilize and like exploit everything at Vandy because it's such a good school. Like, why not? Like, even if I had a tough transition coming in, like, it's given me so many like networking opportunities, like meeting all these different people. Like, can give me like, like jobs, internships, all that. Good friends. Um, yeah, I think I think just there's no bad alternative to school. Everything's good. Like no matter what you do, genuinely speaking. Like if you're into doing substances, then so be it. You know, like like not advocating for substances, but like like at least in college, I'm a psych major. It's good to take a break from school, whatever that break may mean for me, like for you. And like empirically speaking, from data in psych, that's supported, but I don't condone it.
Yeah, speaking about your major, like, how did you like choose or come to that major in the first place?
Okay. Um, so I'm like right now I have two majors, technically three. So the first one is it's called economics and history. It's two majors like condensed into one, basically. Um, it's economics and history, like an econ major and an history major. There is like it's like a diagram. Like I do my own things separate, like my history courses, my econ courses, but then there's like that overlap. Like I took a course last semester about like the history of capitalism in America, and that's like it satisfies both. Um, I'm taking like this semester I'm taking economic history of Europe, and that's like for both. So that's that major. It's pretty like arduous, takes a lot of time, but I like it. It's like my passion. I like learning about history. Like when I do my readings, my 500 pages of reading each week here, I enjoy it. Like I don't dread
Actually,
it. Like yeah, it is. It's insane.
Zeman was not wrong. He was
Yeah,
not wrong. Whoa.
yeah. I
He was
discovered it the
like,
hard way.
oh my god. He was like, guys, if you go to college, like you're gonna read like a full book by like next week and you'll be tested about it. I was like, no way, no way.
One
Like,
of the
yeah.
tested part, like that's probably for like other majors, but at least in my major, I have to read a book and then like write about it, like discussion posts or whatever.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, like I get assigned like 100 pages per like I meet so like in college it's like you don't meet every day. You meet like either Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or like Tuesday, Thursday. So I only have class twice a week. So in each class period or session, I gotta read 100 pages, which isn't too bad. If you're good at like reading and skimming, it should take you like an hour, which isn't that much time, honestly. Um, but that's my major, my first one. My second one is it's officially called cognitive studies, cognitive science, whatever you want to call it. But it's basically a psych major, but like it has a more, I don't know how to describe it. It has a more practical approach to it. Like it's more of like how can we integrate psychology into like kids, you know, the study of kids, for instance, like something like that. Um, to be honest, I only picked up that major in order to transfer like schools within Vandy. Like I talked about it earlier, how there's four like schools within Vandy. I was in the big like arts and sciences school, but I needed to move over to Peabody, which took all my credits, all my AP credits. And then when I was deciding on which major to pick, it was either that or this major called Human Organizational Development or HOD. It's a Vandy thing, like really Vandy thing. It's like consulting. If you guys know what consulting is, a lot of consultants do HOD. To be honest, it's a coloring book major. If you want to see their tests, their tests are literally like what like how many colors are on the color wheel. Like it's ridiculous how easy that major is.
okay.
Okay, we joke about it, but like it's actually for real. Like it's insane how easy their major is. Like if you don't get an A, then like something, like you're not like you're doing something wrong, you know. And I didn't want to do that because in my head I'm like I have more pride in that. Like I want a challenge, you know. So I did cognitive studies, um, but now I kind of regret it. I feel like an HOD major would have helped lessen the load on me, you know, and still get a high GPA. And like those people, like that major, like the input to output ratio, like the amount of work they put in versus like the amount of money they're gonna be making, it's insane. Like they're all gonna be consultants making like 100K like out of like school, and you don't need a master's for it. And like what do? They call it like color inside the lines or something, or like how do you talk to people? Like use please or thank you or something. like all these like very elementary skills that you learn like like in high school. But anyway, that's why I picked those two majors.
Well, well, after college, where do you think you'll like end up?
Uh, okay, so my plan, okay, when I graduate in May of next year, I'm going back to OC, going back to, Huntington Beach, Westminster.
I see.
I'm taking 2 gap years before law school, so like law school is the next step. But I'm gonna give myself time to recover. Like I know like my body is not in a good state right now, so I'm giving myself time to go back home, spend 2 years just doing something productive, obviously, but like it won't be as stressful as having like school and work and like clubs to run and like all these different things. Like I'll still be working next year. I haven't decided yet. I might go into like paralegal work or like something like politics related, government related. Um, we'll see. Something that, you know, pays decent, but more importantly, like is like useful for society. Um, like I want a job that like makes me contribute to society actively in my own community. So yeah, I'm doing 2 gap years, go to law school. Hopefully, this is my second try at Yale. Hopefully, second time's a charm. Hopefully, I can get into Yale Law School. But yeah, that's my goal. Yeah,
It's kind of like 2 year gap. Yeah, I would probably do the same thing if I had that much amount of like workload. So,
yeah.
but
I think
uh,
yeah, like I was gonna add, I think I don't feel like I'll be behind because I'm like taking like I'm already graduating a year early, so like I feel like doing 2 years is like sufficient, so it's not like too long. Um, and like like I've over time realized I need to take care of my own health because I can always get a degree, like a year later, but like I'll feel the effects of not giving myself a break like when I'm 50, and I don't want to, you know, die young or something like that.
yeah. Wait, just I was just curious, but do you have any like part-time jobs or or any like internships that you have as like or any work aside from school?
Yeah, so right now I actually work 20 hours a week for this political consulting uh firm here in Tennessee, or it's like in Nashville, but they do like Tennessee politics. Um, they like it's basically like, like advising campaigns on what to do. A lot of like donor stuff, like reaching out to people with like money and like contributing to campaigns, writing emails, like strategies, like how can we win this race? How can we beat this candidate? Um, it's pretty interesting actually. I like it. It's remote, so I don't have to like go anywhere. I just stay in this exact same place like 5 hours a day or 4 hours a day. And then on top of that, I'm taking 18 units. That seems like I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but I'm taking 18 units of course load. It's like I don't know how to describe it. Because 18 is like the max I think that you can take. If that gives you like it's like I think it's like taking like six classes, I guess, at Marina is like the equivalent of it. And then yeah, like if you see my Google Calendar, it's all like taken up. Like if I'm not in class, I'm working. If I'm not working, I'm in class. And if I'm not doing either, I'm probably like facilitating an event for like the three clubs or organizations that like I'm leading. So
Hmm. Um, huh. Kind of like it's not much questions left, so I'm just gonna
Wait, can I ask?
try to come up. Yeah,
Sorry.
go ahead.
What is your sleep schedule now that you like? Because you said that you like learned like that you can't handle like such a low sleep schedule, but it sounds like you're still very, very busy.
yeah, so like I guess the big difference is that I'm more efficient with my time. Um, like I'd say my sleep schedule now, I always aim for 7.5 hours. I followed like the sleep cycle thing where like I only sleep in increments of 1.5 hours.
Hmm.
and like I feel like I've scientifically I noticed a difference between like 7 hours and 7.5. Like I need to go in increments of 1.5. It makes me feel less groggy. Like I'd rather sleep 6 hours than 6.5, if that makes sense. Because six is like 4 times 1.5.
Mhm.
Like I'm like making it all complicated, but like how do I sleep? But right now, this semester, I am sleeping about like 7.5 hours
Oh wow.
every day, which is more than twice I was doing in high school. Um, I think the biggest difference is that like not only am I more efficient in my time, I'm more like I guess I have like I obviously can't fit everything, like homework, for example. Like there's certain things I have to like just cut, like not cut out, but like I can't just like thoroughly read a book, for instance, for like this one class. Like I'm just gonna skim it, and like that saves me an hour to dedicate to something else. So it's a lot of like cost benefit analysis, like in my head, and I have to do it. Like if I want to prioritize my health, I have to cut some corners, and like so far I'm doing well. I mean, hopefully I'm on pace for all A's.
Wow.
Hopefully I don't jinx that. Uh, but yeah, I think it's just being more efficient with your time and like understanding that um, it's like when you're doing your work, it's more of the quality than the quantity that counts.
Okay. Thank you. Wow. Okay.
Got more questions, Dylan?
Mm, not right now. I'll probably come up with something
I mean, like
to make my voice worse.
you have a lot of personal questions, and
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was like, oh, I think Dylan should do his own personal questions.
are we on that section already? That was kind of fast.
You didn't ask
Um,
anything. Like honestly, like I
We
got.
went through a lot.
but I had so many questions at the beginning, but I
I
told
feel like
myself
I
I
went
wouldn't
over
talk,
like
and now I'm talking. But I think
I
yeah,
think
I'll
this
just be sick tomorrow, and that's okay, because I feel like it's worth. Um,
Oh wait, I
yeah.
have a fun fact. I have a fun fact.
Mhm.
Do you guys know who Olivia Rodrigo is?
Oh yeah. Wait,
Wait,
Olivia. Wait,
the singer?
You know her. Everyone knows.
What year was she? Cause like I'm kind of.
She's a year younger than me, but I have something related about her. So, my freshman year, when I dormed, my next door neighbor, okay, freshman year, we're supposed to have roommates traditionally, right, at Vandy.
Mhm.
But since COVID happened, they de-densified us. So like I had my own room. So the roommate I was supposed to have was the person next door to me, and that person turns out to be Ethan Wacker, who is Olivia Rodrigo's ex-boyfriend.
Oh,
So that's my
well,
uh, icebreaker um, fact.
Actually, I don't think I know this person.
Olivia
Yeah, it's like
Rodrigo.
he's a white dude, but we're like good acquaintances. Um,
Hmm.
it's cool. He talked about he talked about Olivia a lot. How he misses her. Well, not right now, but like when we were freshmen, he was like I've been heartbroken once, like, and I was like, you don't need to tell me who it is, bro. Like I know who it is. And that's when he started getting. Well, yeah, he's a cool dude. But that's like it's cool. Like it's insane how many like famous people you come across at like a school like Vandy, for instance, or for example, like one of my like really close friends now. Her uncle is the president of Riot Games.
Oh,
What
So
the heck?
I'm serious.
Oh my goodness. Yo, these connections! I must get
wait,
in.
this is
Oh my
crazy.
goodness.
No,
Oh
I
my.
feel like it's like one thing I like need to like be thankful of is that like every person I meet here has like some like weird at
Oh.
like really like special connection. Like it's insane. Like she like brushes it aside as like nothing, but to me it's like bro, like I used to play League. Like I
Right.
played League like in middle school. Like that's a big deal to me. Like to meet the guy who like leads the corporation that makes League and then Valorant now, like that's
Oh my
insane.
goodness.
Yeah.
But
I actually
yeah,
want to work for Riot later, but
Really?
like that's like
Ooh.
pretty far.
you'll get there. I believe. It's just a lot of
Yeah.
networking. Networking
It's
is
yeah.
exhausting, guys.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Actually,
How do you
fun
do that?
fact. Don't go for yeah.
No, just in the picture thing, because my question's not time relevant.
I mean, related to that, I know someone who's a senior animator at Riot Games. So
Oh,
yeah,
oh
so
yeah, I remember you talked about that.
he works he works for Valorant,
Hmm.
And do you know the hand animations? It's
Hmm.
all him. All the hand
Wow.
animations, he animated that himself. And and I want to work as a 2D artist for Riot Games. So that's
Hmm.
kind of like the I was like, hey, hook me up. So it's kind of fun, yeah. These connections are really, really nice. But I still gotta work my way up there.
Yeah. I guess wherever you go for college, just like be friendly. Like you don't know who you're gonna stumble
Oh yeah.
across. Like they'll give you like opportunity. It sounds wrong to like make friends because you want to further your career, but um, like there's nothing wrong with like networking. I mean, I'm not like personally like I don't like being fake, but I have to be here. Like I'm wasting like I feel like I'm gonna waste like I'm wasting my time here if I'm not like networking. So like sometimes I dress up nice, go to coffee with someone, talk about their life, and then like they give me their number and like that's all I need. Like
How do
I
you
just need to
wait? How do you usually go about it? Like, how do you
Yeah.
like actually like find and how do you make friends? How do you make friends or new friends? Because for
those are
people,
two things.
it's
We're
completely
talking about
new, right?
networking or friends. Because like friends is
Oh
like
yeah, that's
separate from like
true. Like for like
I mean
I'm like going to a different like state. I was just wondering like how do you like meet like new people? Because I would be or going to like a different college with like no one you know. I would be pretty scared. So how do you like make friends?
yeah.
In my
Um
like
I
out of my thing.
yeah, like I think okay, when I moved I think it's it's hard for me to say because when I moved to college, it was still COVID. Like
Oh,
like everyone had to wear a mask. At Vandy, they're pretty strict. So like not only do we have our own rooms, but we weren't allowed to have people over in our rooms. Like we weren't allowed to interact outside of our rooms. Outdoors 6 feet, but even that was pretty strict. So it's really hard to like make friends. Like, in a typical year, I would have just like gone by the hallway, talked to people, like knocking people's doors or something. But I couldn't do that when I first moved in. So it was like I guess that like speaks to like what I like talked about earlier, I like alluded about earlier about how I kind of like struggled to integrate myself at Vandy. Um, but COVID wasn't. I wouldn't say COVID was a big reason why. It definitely played a role, but I think the main reason was because everyone is just so different year from year, and like it's not like a racial thing. I want to attribute it more to like socioeconomic dynamics. Like Vandy is probably one of the most like unequal like universities like here in America. Um, it's so 25% of the kids here come from families that are part of the 1%. That
Oh.
oh yeah.
1%. So like every one out of every 3% I meet or 4% I meet, or 4 people I meet are like they're rich. But like I can't tell sometimes. But like even then, like low income kids like me, not even low income, but like lower middle class kids, anyone that like people that earn less than 150,000, there's only 3% of us. Like that is
Wow.
really like let that sink in. Like there's almost 6 times more 1%ers in this school than there are like middle class people in the school, and like poor people combined. Like that's like an insane number to think about. So like when I first moved, it was like a shock because the South is different, different like different culture here, and just like the school itself was very skewed to be like for the rich, by the rich, of the rich. Like people's definition here of hanging out is let's spend like $50 on Tuesday, like eating whatever, like downtown. And it's like, bro, I can only go out like once a week. Like I'm not like loaded, like I know you're different, but like I can't do that. But of course I wanted to fit in, so it was hard moving. But then I found like people that were for me, who understood where I came from, and like, I'm enjoying it now. Although I will say, what like really like ticked me off at first was that I tell people I was in financial aid, right? And like they give me this weird tone. They're like, "Oh, really?" And then they go on this long tangent about how their parents have to pay like 80,000 a year. And in my head, I'm like, "How is that my fault? Like, you want me to be sorry to like you want me to be sorry for growing up like disadvantaged? Like, you want me to be sorry that my parents are like poor?" And then when I did tell like a couple people that I was like on a full ride, they were just so like instead of like like being nice about it or like being like congratulatory about it. They're very like negative about it. They're like, oh, like that's so nice, like must be nice, like getting that. And I'm like, must be nice, like being poor, like must be nice, like having to go through like like just the like not worse, but like just like a really bad American experience, like just having to go through like food stamps, like all these things for low income people, like that is such a privileged thing to say. So I did not vibe with so many people here when I first got here. Like it was to the point where I was like, oh, I want to transfer out. Like these people are insane. But I ended up not transferring out, obviously. But like in my head, I'm like, they're making me feel like worse about myself for something I couldn't control. Like I didn't ask to be born poor, but here you are, like like giving me like backhanded compliments, talking about like I don't have to pay for going to school here. Like all these loaded statements about how like I'm poor and like all these things. It's like no, can you just like like screw off like don't talk about that. So now I don't bring it up. Like I don't tell people I'm on financial aid, or I don't like tell them that I'm on a full ride because I know I'm gonna elicit negative responses from people here, and I've accepted that. Like it's just like part of Vandy. Like Vandy's a very rich school, like the school is like insanely rich. I mean, I'm benefiting off of it. Like they're giving me money to be here, but like if you look around campus, you look around the people here, like sometimes it makes me sad that there's so much wealth on this campus. Like this campus has more wealth than like a lot of countries in the world.
Yeah.
It's insane. Yeah.
So like if most or if you first got there and you didn't vibe with most people, then like how like you personally, how did you find the people that you like clicked with?
Trial and error. It was a lot like
Oh,
as tiring as it sounds, as like as much as like we all don't want to hear it. It was a lot of like trial and error. Like I just I didn't like like pray to God and like hope that he gives me like the friends that I need. It was more of like I had to seek out, see if this person was good, and see if I'm friends with like if I can vibe with them. And it took a lot of like effort, and it honestly was like pretty taxing. Um, Especially with COVID, like all the restrictions. Like, what are we supposed to do? Like talk 6 feet apart? Like what are like like meet on Zoom? It was really hard. But my sophomore year, when like the restrictions like lifted a bit, it was easier. I guess people are nicer. I guess like people are like a lot of things have happened since like my freshman year of Vandy. Like there's so many like controversies here about like wealth, like racism, sexism, like anti-Semitism, all these things here. And like I feel like that's changed how Vandy's worked the last like year and a half already. Um, it just like I said, it just takes like trial and error. Like you'll meet people you don't like, you'll meet the people that you like, and like you have to make your own decision if you want to keep them like within your circle. So,
mm, that makes sense. Well,
but
speaking about
yeah.
college, yeah, you have anything else to say?
No, I was just gonna say because like if I didn't come to Vandy, I wouldn't have realized I'm a big school person. Like it feels eerie being in like a small school like Vandy because we only have 6,000 undergraduate,
Oh
and
wow.
then like a school like my girlfriend goes to Cal State Fullerton. Her school is like what 40,000 undergraduates, and like when I went there for a couple days, I was like, wow, like I like this place better than Vandy. There's something about like the sheer amount of people that makes me feel less like I'm just like a dot. Like sometimes I don't want to stand out. Like I like sure like I need to like do things like lead orgs, but sometimes some days I just want to blend in with the crowd and like live my anonymous life. So yeah.
So I'm just curious, but like, how were the professors? Because we're talking about like a really like high end school.
They're they're really good. Okay, and I'm talking about aggregate. Like if you put all the professors together, I think Vandy has like one of the best professors in the world. Like obviously, like they're all really good. I've had my own bad experiences. I only have a bad experience with one professor in particular. Um, I'm still so mad at her. Like I can't believe what like she has destroyed my career basically. Well, that's an exaggeration, but um, basically she um, it was one of my intro psych classes from a major, and um, she's like this. she's kind of mean. She's like a very bad, like ill-mannered, like white woman. You know, like she went to Stanford, talks about going to Stanford a lot. And it's like, bro, like I don't want to hear it. Like I get it. Like you're part of the elite class of America. Like your dad was like a psychologist too. Like you're telling me you got in like based on your own merits. Like I don't think so. But anyway, like she gave me an F on my first assignment, right? And like I've never gotten like an F before. I've gotten C's, but that was because I got C's, like consistently C's. But like I've never gotten like an F before. So then I was like, oh, you want to explain? I went up to her office hours and I was like, oh, like can you explain why I got an F? And she said, you didn't answer the prompt, like you did it wrong, so I gave you an F. And then like that was the only time ever, like like college, high school, middle school, like all combined, where like I came so close to like talking back and like arguing with like that professor, because in that moment I was like, bro, like this F will like be a taint, or like it won't be in my grade, but like it's gonna bring my GPA down because my grade in that class is gonna go down. Like I want to go to law school, bro. Like if you do this, like you're kind of like you single-handedly like you're dragging my GPA down, which is like one grade. And then she like just like kept going back and forth, and at the end I just like let the like put my foot off the gas pedal because I was like, like I'm not disrespectful. Like I'm a chill person. Like I'm pacifist. Like I don't like being aggressive. So I like chilled out. I tried to redeem myself, but then she like I ended up getting a B in that class. My only B, my only non, the only like I tried my best to keep up with all A's in college, but that was the one class that I didn't. Unfortunately, I wasn't unfortunately able to do that. Um, she's just she's the one professor here that I believe should be fired. But the weird thing about professors is that um, there's something called tenured. Like high school teachers are different, but like professors are tenured, so they have a contract for like 30 years or something, and in that period they can't be fired for anything basically. Like you can be racist and you will
Wow.
still keep your job, unless you do something like sexual assault, like evident with evidence, you won't be kicked out. If it's all like allegations, they won't do anything. So she's safe for her job. Like like her job is fine. Like she won't disappear from Vandy. But at the very least, I think she should like stick to research, because I can tell from her like teaching style that she is not a good teacher, and she was out to get like all of us. Like only one person got an A in that class for an intro psych class, and everyone else got a B. So I wasn't very happy with that like distribution. And we usually have like course evaluation um, forms at the end of the semester. And that was the only time I put one for every single category for a teacher. And I put down like a whole essay at the end. I hope you can like reflect on your like semester, like you're being too harsh with things. Like this is an intro class. This is not like pre-med. Like I don't know what you're like trying to do. Like we just wanted to learn, but instead you turn it into like a battlefield, basically. So I don't like her, but all my professors have been great. Like I have a good relationship with all my professors. I go into office hours a lot. I befriend them, like I have like phone numbers from professors. But I think that's like, well, for me, like I guess I'm like an easygoing guy, so like I like talking to people, no matter like the age, uh, your authority, position, any of that. But I think at a school like Vandy, like I definitely have like appreciate like the quality of education that I'm getting. Like they are such good teachers, and like sometimes like I feel bad for like skipping class because I'm sick, like I still want to go, but like I'm sick because I'm missing out on like such good teachers that are like actually like genuinely trying to help us. So
That's pretty nice. I mean, there's always that one teacher that everyone hates. But so like since like Vandy, it's like private school. So what what was the class size usually?
yeah, so I think it depends. So like the for intro like econ classes, they're like about 300 people, but that's like the big exception. Most
Mm,
classes here, most of my classes here have been under, I think, an average of about like 12 to 15 people. Really small classes. I think I think they want it that way. Um, the smaller the classes, the more intimate your teaching is. Like you get to learn better or something like that, which I don't really like support. I feel like you could like 20 is like if you go to 20, I don't think that is any different from like 10. Like I think it's fine having 20 people. in a classroom, but it definitely has helped like making that connection. Um, because in college you still do need recommendation letters from your professors if you want like a job, or you're applying for like grad school, whatever, like med school, law school, whatever, um, path you might take. Like it's good having those tiny classes because if you go to like a big school like UCLA, you're gonna have like 400 people in your class. Even like your upper division classes, you're gonna have like what um, like even 50 people, like how are you supposed to stand out? Like when you go up to your professor and ask for a letter, like
Yeah.
are they gonna remember you? You know, like it's hard. I think that's a benefit of Vandy, like being a private school. And like I said, like they have like a big endowment. They have a lot of money. I think it's like 20 billion each year, or like it's like a 20 billion endowment, which is like
Wow.
Harvard is like way bigger. Harvard's about like 40 billion. So like they're way richer. But I think like it, for some reason like to me like Vandy is richer because of like uh, that like the money is like southern like old money southern money like you know like Great Gatsby
Great
like it's
Gatsby.
not new money, it's like old money like that dude like you can it's like a weird dynamic like they like there's so many like things here like distinctly Vandy, distinctly southern, like you can tell like this sounds bad but I feel like so, like a lot of like some things here that are named after people, like they're like slave owners, and like we're trying to get rid of that. Like the dorm I lived in last year, he the person whose name was on the dorm, he was a literal like plantation owner, because he was like best friends with Cornelius Vanderbilt, who the school is named after. Cornelius Vanderbilt wasn't a slave owner, but his friends were. But then he let his friends like get their names on the damn buildings, and to this day their names are still there, and like they're known like slave owners. And it's like, bro, like let's move on. Like it's been 150 years. Like let's get rid of these names, and they don't want to get rid of it because they say it's like a part of our legacy. And it's like, oh, so your legacy is about slavery? And they say no, it's not. And it's like, okay, then pick a side, bro. Like you can't like straddle both lines and say that like you're a good institution and that like like you're a voice for black people and then show this kind of behavior. So that's how. Sorry, I'm like I always go on tangents. Like that's like really far from class size, but that's those are my 2 cents.
Yeah, I do like these tangents because like sometimes I don't have too much to say. But so Dylan, do you have any questions before I maybe go on a tangent? See,
What's your tangent gonna be about? Depends.
I don't know. Like I'll just make something up.
Okay,
I'll
yeah.
just make something up.
Give me a sec. Mm,
I mean, it's nice talking to people because
but yeah,
like
no,
outside the
interviews
house,
is yeah, interviews are so fun. I don't know, like
yeah,
the
right.
solo streams are not the same. Like it's just so much
Bro, we
nicer
should
talking to a human
do,
being.
dude, next interview, Thanksgiving break, and it'll be like a group of people in a podcast, like in your house, and we'll set up like a podcast, like actually though. That'd be
Down,
so
but
lit.
I gotta make sure that UC apps are done before that because that's right. That's probably when I'm gonna
Oh yeah,
finish them. But
yeah, but not really. Yeah, that's true.
let's see.
I don't want to
Okay, yeah.
think about it.
I'll ask a chat question first, and then I'll ask mine. Bonnie asks how, like, just general tips about being more efficient with time, because you talk about how now you kind of cut corners to make sure you get sleep, and like it's like for you it's worth it, and for me personally also cutting corners has generally been worth it to favor my health.
Yeah.
Do you have personal tips, or I'll share mine probably after Justin can share his. But
Ooh, I think social media is like the biggest time killer of our time. And like, like I'm like if you see my screen time, I'm on TikTok for 3 hours a day, but I still get my stuff done. So like imagine how much I can get done if I cut that 3 hours down. I think it's hard because I'm not like a big advocate of like deleting like your socials, like not going TikTok because like, I feel like it's like there's a certain like healthy level going on social media. Like obviously there's like bad consequences to it, but I think generally speaking, like it's okay to have your dopamine, like it's okay to have like that tiny burst of dopamine, like during your break, just to help you like stay stable, mentally stable. Um, I don't know. I think trying to think of like anything like specific. I think I don't know. I think because I usually get a lot of work done on like the days uh Tuesdays and Thursdays. I have like a full stack of classes. So I'm taking 6 classes this semester, but 5 of them are on Tuesdays and Thursdays, like that block. So from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. I'm like in classes the whole time. For some reason, in between those classes, I get the most work done. And I think it's because of that, like, it's like a continuous mentality of like, oh, like you're doing like work, you're in school, or like you're in class, I mean, and like might as well keep the energy going. But like on Mondays and Wednesdays, when I have one class, I feel like I get less work done that way. So I guess like knowing, like, it's like taking advantage of momentum. It sounds weird to say, but I think that's how I've been like doing like my work. It's like when I get that burst of like wanting to do work, like don't stop, just like keep going. Like there's no point in like stopping that momentum from going. Another thing is like change of scenery. This is more of a college thing. When if you're living on like in dorms, like if you're studying in your room the whole day, I feel like it gets old, you're more likely to slow down a bit on your work. But if you like move around, like, spend 2 hours like outside and like go to the library 2 hours after, like you get it's just that change of environment, like it tricks your brain in a way that makes it think that you're skipping days ahead. Like it sees your room as Monday and then it sees the outdoors as Tuesday. And like mentally speaking, it like that like our brain like our brains like change, like it's interesting, it's not stationary, it's not in equilibrium, and like as dopamine seeking species, like that's a good thing. Sorry, I'm like putting like my psych major knowledge into this, but I think that's how I view it. Like I take advantage of this stuff I'm learning, but I think to be efficient with time, you just have to know like how your brain works. I like working in momentum. I can get so much done in 3 hour spurt versus like spending the whole day, like 10 hours, just like, being slow and like not doing anything. So that's my advice.
You had
Hmm.
the personal question.
Yeah, my personal question was going to be at social media, but I think I want to continue on this thread of time management first. But I don't know where to, like, I thought I had an idea of what I was going to say, and then I realized that, like, there's, like, a lot of different aspects of time management that, are, like, you kind of just, like, you learn over time, like, as you, like, work on trying to get more stuff done. Like, it just kind of, you have a problem, then you kind of fix it, and then, like, that presents another problem, you kind of fix that one, and then eventually you end up with, like, a set of, like, things that you do that kind of, like, resolve the whole time management stuff. Because I don't know how to say it, but like time management almost like isn't much of an issue for me. I don't know what it is, but like one thing is that for me, external like pressures to get stuff done, those are very powerful. Like if I don't have like let's say like I think the reason why I didn't start essays the whole summer was because there's just no like there's no pressure to do so, and only like this like in October did I even start. Like I'm not even writing the essays. I'm writing about the essays. Like I'm writing about what I want to talk about, like what I can't talk about. Just like I have to have the external pressure, otherwise it just doesn't happen. So I sort of revolve my sort of I guess activities around societal stuff because otherwise it just doesn't get done. But that's like something I kind of just figured out like through not getting stuff done and then learning that I can't get stuff done without it. But then there's a whole bunch of other stuff like momentum is also a thing I noticed, and then like that the idea of like dopamine like past couple of days I've noticed that like if I don't get any like dopamine in my system, I just like sit and like I'll sit in front of the computer. Like I have to have something, even like it doesn't make sense because you'd assume that it would make more sense to reward the work after with the dopamine, but I have to have the dopamine before and then work once I'm dopamine up, which is really weird, but it just works for me, which I don't like. I prefer to get the stuff done and then relax, but instead I'm tense while getting dopamine and then I'm working and then I'm sleeping. But yeah, Justin, you have anything?
Um, yeah, I don't know if I yeah, I don't know if I give the best advice, but I don't know, like during regarding schoolwork, I I usually get a lot. I have a free fifth period, so I usually get like a lot done during like the 57 minutes or whatever that I have, because I just like right after class or right after like a lecture, I just like I need to apply this information right now. And then if I don't, I usually just like wait until like the last second. And then usually if you have a test, and then I usually wait to do work, then I really get punished for it, which like kind of like sets me up like, oh, I have to actually be serious. And then I I do see results. So in my opinion, seeing results is what gives me like the edge to do to like actually like put the book down and get serious. So that's my advice. Kind of not that practical, but like that's my philosophy on it. So yeah.
Okay, then I guess I'll just get to my question. This is also in the outline, Jen, if you want more detail. It's like pretty far down. But it's just the idea of like social media, you touched on it already. You said that you were someone who doesn't like advocate for the whole deleting the app thing. And I wouldn't say I'm on the opposite. Okay, I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum. I'm not full on delete everything, but I'm pretty far down that. Like I've never downloaded TikTok because I knew that would just kill me. But like I've slowly transitioned. Like okay, so I used to have timelines. Like let's say freshman. Okay, I get Instagram in like seventh grade, right? So Instagram sort of thing until ninth grade. Starting in high school, I start setting limits on myself because I noticed that like I'll spend like hours will just disappear when I have Instagram on my phone, and so I start setting like the screen time limits, but that doesn't work because I just press ignore the limit every time I see it. And then sophomore year, I start deleting the app and then re-downloading it whenever I needed it. And then that also was still a problem because then I would just download it. Like it wasn't enough of a barrier, especially during quarantine. So I would just it wouldn't work either. So now moving on into this year, I basically never have the app on my phone. I only use it on my Chromebook for exclusively hub purposes. I don't check stories. I don't check posts. I'm just on DMs, right? And you'd assume that that would work, except it doesn't. Because then I still check it. Like it's not as bad as before. Like I'll say, at most like an hour and a half. Never mind. 2 hours a day. Like it's not even understandable how it gets to 2 hours a day because it's not like I'm even messaging people a lot. It just ends up being like I'm looking for my dopamine hit and I'm just waiting for somebody to like it's like keep checking, which is like I don't know how to deal with that. Like, but you're talking about how like you don't have to cut it off. You just have to make it healthy. But I don't know if I have like an addict brain or what. But like, it seems like I get addicted to stuff very like it's not. It's very hard to get me off of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like your fault. I mean, that's how these developers have, made their algorithms. Like, you guys have seen the Social Dilemma, the movie, or like the doc or like whatever. Like, I think that's a good, um, it's a good movie to watch. It gives a lot of like insights about like the role of social media in our lives, just like the internet and like the algorithms and work. Um, I think um, the reason why I don't really advocate for deleting stuff is that I feel like you just kind of mentioned it, like it just it's like over time it becomes useless and like I said, it's like you delete the app, but then you're gonna re-download it every time you need it. Like that hurdle has been made defunct basically by you doing that. Because so social media is a hard drug to get rid of. And like I said, like even now, like I go on like TikTok like so often, like for hours on end, like every day. And it's not like, like an hour straight, it's more of like 20-minute or like 10-minute burst. Then I don't do work, and then 10-minute burst, and then I do work. Or like on the way from class, like back and forth between like walking to class, like I'm always on it. Like it's just like I guess it's helped me like stay stable. I think it definitely has like reduced my burnout a bit because it's giving that balance that I need between like, being stern, being so input like being in line with like my academics and also just giving myself that like, being at liberty to pursue like the things that my brain wants, like what my dopamine seeking receptors want. Like these I there is like a point where it's like excessive and it hurts you. Um, but I think only you know when it hurts you. Like it's like if you start seeing like your academic, like if you start seeing in your academics, like you get like not very good grades on your tests, I think that's an indication that it's not like a healthy habit. But to me right now, like I have good grades in college right now, and like I've never really like deleted social medias. I feel like I've had the same like rates of usage like in high school. The only difference is that I'm more efficient with my time outside of social media. Um, like I admit, like I'm pretty like addicted too, and like I don't know how to stop it. Like I just don't know how. Like deleting TikTok won't help. Um, I also don't want to delete it because I have a lot of drafts on my like in my account. So if I delete it, my drafts are gone. But um, like I just kind of caved in, I guess. I don't know. I mean, also like I just want to share this, but like a thing that I follow is like the 2 minute rule. Well, like if I can do something in 2 minutes, I should do it now. So like I'm living independently, like it matters to me a lot. Like if I see that like my table's dirty, like I'm just gonna do it now because it's gonna take less than 2 minutes. Like if I leave it off to like the next week, like it's gonna be dirty. There's like more things to do. So like I live by that rule, like pretty religiously. Like if I'm able to do it in 2 minutes, like I should do it. It's like emails. Like emails are like a pretty big part of my life now. And I feel like such an adult, like having to like send emails, but they're pretty time consuming, kind of, or like it's just kind of a pain to do. So some of them take less than 2 minutes, and I just do it like before class. Like it adds up. Like if you have tiny like those 2 minutes like really add up and like you can get so much done in those 2 minutes. Um it's also like a psychological weapon that I use if I don't know, like I need to that's like I usually have like a 2 week schedule like on my Mac. I have like my sticky notes. And then like in my sticky notes I have like I'm in week 7 now, like of college, like on my semester, I mean. So week 7, week 8, and then I write down everything that I need to do for the week, like the day I need to do it by, the class, and like what the thing is. And then that takes a lot of time to organize, kind of. But if I can do it in 2 minutes, I should do it. So um, that's why I think about social media. But like it's like a person to person basis. Like what works for me probably doesn't work for you, and you probably need like something else, um, a different strategy.
That's like, it's funny because that's like almost the opposite of what I do. Because I find, I don't know if it's because same thing with addict's brain, but like if I give myself something to like tangent off onto, I tangent off onto that thing. So
Mm.
if let's say like you're walking by like the dinner table and it's dirty, I'll wipe that and then I'll forget what I was supposed to do and then I'll pick up my phone, look at email, and then I'll like walk over to the couch and like if I don't have a thing for like if I don't have the set like not routine necessarily, but like just the set list, I like will go off the rails and like do anything else. So I think yeah, I think it's about just figuring out what works for you because like on social media and on this, like we're just like completely opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I think it's like a discipline. I think it's also like a discipline thing. Like I've realized that like you don't like I know I talked about momentum earlier. This might sound like uh, counter to that what I said, but I think focusing more on discipline than motivation will definitely like get you far academically, or like even like gym, like working out. Like there are days where I wake up and it's like I don't feel motivated to go, but that discipline keeps me going. Or like even like in school, like going to class, like you don't want to go to class because you're not motivated, but like it's a discipline thing. And like trying to keep discipline over motivation can definitely keep you in line in terms of like goals and stuff. But like I said, that's also not like a black and white issue. You need to take care of yourself. Discipline can take a toll on you, like burnout, like Dylan was talking about. Like I've like experienced myself. Like discipline can get you like really far ahead, but also like discipline also sometimes like when you're like very disciplined, sometimes you forget that like you are only human. You're not like a robot. Like in an ideal world, discipline is good for like robots and like AI and like inanimate objects, but for humans, you can only have so much discipline until you start like hurting yourself. So
Can you go into what you mean by discipline? Because I feel like my interpretation might be different.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, like what I mean with discipline is basically like a set of like rules you follow, or like a set of regulations. Like going to class every time. That's like a rule to follow. Or going to the gym like every single day at 8:30 a.m. That's a like rule you follow. Like no matter how you feel about, like when you wake up in the morning, no matter if like you want to go or not, you still go because that's like the rule you follow. Kind of like taking orders from a commander in the military. Like being disciplined. Motivation is more of like it's more like willy-nilly. Like you do it because you're like you want to, you don't want to do it and you don't do it. Like it's like yeah, like I think like to me like this discipline is just like a set of boundaries that you follow. Or like it's like tracing a line. Like you got dotted lines, you gotta trace it. Like just follow it. Like it doesn't matter if your hand is tired, just keep tracing it until you finish.
Yeah, yeah. That makes a lot of sense because like when you said discipline, I thought you meant more willpower, and I feel like that's where the burnout comes. But when you're talking about just like a set of rules you follow, that's like really true for me, where it's like when it gets to the point where you just internalize that rule set and it's not even conscious anymore, that's the point where like you really become something else, like something like you can like get so much done and it's like not taking a toll on you, unless of course the rule is punishing. Like let's say like I remember last night I was like, oh shoot, I'm sick. And then I realized that like if I was like somebody else, if I had lived like let's say I'm not gonna say that, but like if I lived a different life, I would just not go to school tomorrow. But then I like that was just never a thought that crossed my mind until like recently, because like I just always like go to school. Like that's just when it's a school day, you go to school, and like when you internalize that thought process, you like it just like you don't even question. And there's a danger to that. You got to be careful about what you're internalizing, but I think it can be very very powerful.
Yeah, it's like I said, like discipline's like a robotic thing. You just have to. I mean, it's good. It's good to have discipline. It gets you where you need to be. Um, but like I said, like it's not black and white. You have to realize that like maybe sometimes it's good to be not disciplined for the sake of your own health. So
Mhm. Justin, you have any input on that stuff, or do you want me to just ask another question? Unless you had another question as well, that works too.
It's just that I found it really interesting that you guys mentioned that people have like set of rules and they follow it. It's like kind of like their code, and it could be very powerful. But um, I mean, my thought process on it's very different because I'm really interested in art, and instead of like the instead of like pure willpower, I mean, it's still helpful and discipline, but my source of like um of working comes from inspiration, and whenever that hits, it like I just have to work based on passion, but I can't work purely on passion because I know, and this happens, I would eventually burn out. So in my case, I have to combine with working in general, or just the things that I like that are maybe with music or art, or maybe even like schoolwork that I'm kind of interested in. That I have to balance like hot passion, which is like, oh, I have to like actually like I have to do this right now because like I'm inspired, or like cold passion, like I still like doing it, but sometimes I have to take it like slow and easy because I can't burn out like that fast. It's like kind of like a candle. So that's my thought on it.
no, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. And those. You can go. You can go.
Shoot. Hello?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me or no?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. So I was just gonna say, Jan, like it's what almost 11 p.m. for you. Do you have any like time boundaries? Because like I feel like we could go on for so long. So I just want to like respect that.
Um, I just have okay, like I have something around like 11:30 here, so like 9:30 there.
Uh-huh.
So I can keep going for like 10 more minutes, honestly.
Okay, so 10 minutes. Um, Because sorry, I need some time to think. Okay, I think so there's this question in chat. I think it makes sense to just finish off the chat questions, and then yeah, I think that makes more sense because we've already asked personal questions. I think that's good enough. The question in chat is how did you balance APs with fun stuff like playing League? I'm assuming there's a lot of like not getting sleep that's involved in that, but like, did you
I
have fun or like
actually
how?
I actually stopped playing League after middle school. So if you guys are
Same.
familiar with League, I played season 3 to season 7. So that was
Oh,
like my sixth grade to like freshman year of high school. And I stopped because I just grew up. Like it didn't seem too fun to me anymore.
uh,
Um, my definition of fun had changed at that point. Um, but I guess I can still like like talk about this because it's basically like your own like personal hobbies. So to me, I like what did I do? I like being outdoors, like like just playing like sports and stuff. Um, I was actually part of the wrestling team too when I was at Marina my first 2 years. And that took like so much time. It was fun, but it definitely was like a time consuming thing. I think the balance, like Dylan is right. Like the sleep was like this is how like I talked about it. Like I had like there are three S's in your high school life. There's social life, there is school, and there is sleep. And you can only have two S's out of the three. So you either like you pick two of the three that I mentioned. So I went with social life and school. So that means sleep was not part of the prioritization. So I did suffer from no sleep deprivation. I felt like I was still functioning, but um, not like right now where I feel tired. But definitely it was like pretty hard. Um, that's how I see it. Like it's just kind of hard. High school is a tough. It's tough because the school hours are like egregiously long. Like being in school for 6, 7 hours. Like in college, like I'm in class for 1 hour and I get to go off, and I have so much time to like dedicate to like homework, and studying. So it definitely is a big reduction. And just like comparing Marina to like like other schools, I feel like Marina is in like the top 1% of like schools instead of like in terms of like difficulty and like rigor and like preparedness. Because when I first came here as a freshman, I didn't realize how like these are all smart kids, but like they're smart relative to like their region, like they're really smart, but then like I feel like Marina's just like a different breed. Like the schools in OC, like Fountain Valley, Marina, like all these schools like around us, like we're just like in that like upper tier. Because like I knew how to like write my essays, but like some of them just like didn't know like basic grammar rules. Like they're really smart kids, but like basic grammar rules like you're like missing out on, like it's insane. So I think Marina rigor is a bit different from like normal college life. Like when you go to college, like that balance between like your class and like playing League, it's definitely more manageable. Like I have so many friends who play Valorant on the daily, and they have 4.0s. Like they're pre-med, they're bio majors, and I don't know what the rank. What are the ranks for Val? Like plat or something? Whatever the ranks are. Like they're all like really good at the game, and they're good at like their full like academic life. So it's like it shouldn't be an either or. You should do what you want to do. Just know that there are some weeks that you might have to cut down on playing League or something.
mm,
Okay.
Derek, who asked the question, he wants to inform me that if David messed him up, it was not playing League. It was about watching football and hanging out with friends. Just to get the record straight,
No, I
because
mean it's
he
the
feels
same.
offended.
You can apply.
Nah, it's just funny
Yeah, you
because,
can apply.
but mm, on sort of the when you said that Marina's in the top 1%, I don't know if I blanked out or what, but I was confused by that. Top 1% of like of what specifically? Because then you said that people didn't know
Like
grammar rules, and that got me really confused.
like just like preparedness of like the rigor that like a school like Vandy has. Like to me, if I'm being honest, I think Marina was harder than Vandy. Like my Marina experience is like 100% harder than my Vandy experience. Like Vandy is like time consuming and stuff, but like in terms of like sheer effort, I spent so much more effort at Marina. maybe because I did like
Yeah, you did.
20 APs or
Yeah.
whatever that number, but like I still like I felt like it was worse in like at Marina when I'm like the move to Vandy was like a step down. Well, for most people here, it's a step up because they went to high schools not as great as Marina. And like the grammar rule thing was just like an example. Like they are smart, but like those little like details like they weren't getting, and like that was hurting them like in their grades. Like just like not knowing how to like write an intro paragraph. Like that's
Mhm.
insane. Like it's like you just have different people here. Like they're all smart, but like relatively smart. And like I think I'm grateful to Marina for like beating me into that like being that like good student and like I can like go to college and transition early like transition pretty like smoothly. But for a lot of these kids, it was like this is like the most difficult thing they've done in their lives, and I feel bad because it's not their fault that they grew up in like Jackson, Mississippi, or something like some place like that. So
Oh wait, you meant the grammar rules for like the other high schoolers, not at Marina, right?
yeah, so I was
Oh,
like what I'm trying to say, yeah,
okay, yeah,
like
that makes sense. I was
just
confused about like, yeah, okay.
like yeah, like they they seem to not have like the necessary skills to be at like a school like Vandy. Like to me like Vandy is Marina 2.0, but to them Vandy is like a whole new field where they have to acquire the skills at Vandy. But to me, I feel like I already acquired those skills. So like when I did like apply it here, like it was easy for me to get an A. Um, but that's like my own experience, obviously. Like everyone else has like a different experience, but I felt like um Vandy was an easy transition. Um, the other Marina kid here, I don't know if you know her. Her name's Hannah.
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah, she came. Yeah,
uh,
she's a year younger than you, right?
yeah, she's a year younger than
Uh-huh.
me. Yeah, so she's like the second Marina kid ever to come to Vandy. It's like
Oh,
us
you
two
were the
were the
first?
first. Like
Oh
I feel like
wow.
she also had an easy time transitioning, and it's because we both went to Marina.
Wow. To be fair, both of you are very smart too, though. Like you guys like hardworking and smart. It's like,
Yeah.
but
Well,
wow.
I think it applies to like everyone on this stream, or like even like everyone at Marina, relatively speaking. I feel like almost everyone at Marina can come to like a school like Vandy and like not be overwhelmed, at least.
I don't know if it was because like because you went to Stacey, yeah, right? Just
Oh, what's that?
you went to Stacey, right?
Oh, Stacey? I went Stacey? Is that
Yeah,
a question?
yeah.
Okay, I went to Stacey, yeah.
Did you have Ortega for English?
I did have Ortega.
Yeah, okay. For me, Ortega, like going from Ortega and then going to high school English was such like I don't know if it's because Ortega just had so much busy work, but it was so easy going into high school English. Like all of the high school English classes felt so easy compared to her. And I don't know what it was, but like
No, it's
yeah, it was such a like I don't know if it was just so much work, but like even last year, junior year, I was taking like really hard classes, but there was just such a low workload, and I was just so confused by it all.
I know. I well, I need to go back to Ortega and tell her I made it. She seemed doubtful of my abilities, I'll tell you that. I got okay. It's because I got a C in got a C in language arts,
hmm
and she was very condescending and like talking to me. So I want to go back one day to Stacey and show her my degree.
Okay.
to prove her
But
Ortega. Yeah.
okay, yeah. Then I think at this point, it's probably if we ask another question, it's probably gonna be a bit late. So I don't know how to wrap this up. Do you have any final words before like we sort of at least wrap up
Uh,
this segment?
like me.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, because you have to
I
go.
think big picture is that it doesn't really matter to an extent where you go for college. I feel like I'd have the same life if I went to like a community college. If I went to like Cal State, I feel like my life hasn't changed that much. It obviously has, because just like resource wise, that is like the facts of the story. Like I've definitely had like a step up, but I feel like in terms of my own like feeling like in here like in my heart, I feel like nothing has really like it's like the same to me. Like college is college. Like I feel like I'll still have the same goals in life. Like nothing is really gonna stop me from like being a lawyer, being a Supreme Court justice, like all these like goals I have in mind. Um, so I don't think like a good amount like stress like a good amount of stress is good for you. It'll push you to like finish those college apps. But I think and like you shouldn't stress to the point where like you feel like you're gonna get a heart attack, or like you're gonna break down. Because that's not it shouldn't get to that point. Just calm down, like it'll be okay. Wherever you go, you'll be fine. Um, and like I can help you through with it too. Like don't hesitate to contact me or like have your essays be read by me. Like just like ask any general questions because I did go through this like a lot, like very extensively. I like watch those YouTube videos talking about like college apps, like tips and tricks. Like read all the books, like I have books about them. Like I was like like a college applications addict. Um, that's all I can say. Yeah, but just it's okay. Like no one's behind. Like I said, until the day of the deadline, if you're like an hour away from the deadline, you're not behind. You're always gonna be on time. Just remember that. It's all
Yeah,
about quality, not quantity. So,
yeah, that was a huge frame shift for me because I didn't even think about like because like if you're done now, you're early, like really early, and like submitting it on time is just on time. But yeah.
yeah, but like, there's no like you shouldn't discriminate. Like it's either you're on time or you're not on time. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter when you turn it in.
But yeah, that about wraps it up. I want to say like thank you so much. Like this is like such a I don't know. It's not just like fun, but it also felt so like I don't know how to explain it. It not enlightening in the sense of enlightenment, but it felt like it was such a inspirational. I can't find the right word for this, but it was such a like great experience to have. So thank you so much.
No, likewise. I actually had like a really good like almost 3 hours here.
Oh my God, it was
Like
three.
I generally had like a really great time like talking to you
Yeah, it's
guys. I
been
mean,
that long.
I know I talk a lot. I think, like I said, like feel free to reach out to me like anytime. Like honestly, I'm very willing to help like any of you guys or girls or like whatever. Like just I'm here to help you.
Okay. We'll add Jen's social. Do you want to be contacted through Instagram, or was there a specific way you wanted them to contact you if they had
You can
questions?
do like Instagram and then we can like transition to text or something like
Okay.
if needed. I, Instagram is fine.
Okay, then I'll drop that later. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for like all of it. Like it's been such an experience.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna transition into like the wrapping up stuff. So Jen, if you have to go right now, then that's like completely fine.
Yes. So I have to go, but like I said, it was nice being here. I hope to talk to some of you, and like like help you guys out with this process. And yeah, don't stress. Stay safe. Don't do bad things. All right.
Okay.
See you guys.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Okay. Justin, we're going to. Oh shoot, what happened? Ah. Okay. That was so cool. But okay, yeah, we're just gonna do some stuff to wrap up. Just like, is there anything that we need? Okay, yeah. So just the typical like what you call it? The VOD will be up probably by tomorrow if I'm not too busy, but if not, then by Monday. And timestamps will come in probably by next weekend. Um, Stream forum. So if you guys, we didn't go over stream forum questions today because looking at the questions, they were basically answered. We just need to find them at some point eventually. But stream forum, you guys can always ask questions. Those are going to be on Linktree in our Instagram bio. I'm gonna mute Discord. I'm realizing now. Double speaking. But um, there's that. Also, buy our merch. Justin, as you saw on the stream, he was the one who designed all of our merch, and we may be designing new merch soon. So those might come off the shelves. Better buy them. What else? Co-host forum that will be introduced more formally in the coming days. But basically, you guys can come on the same way that Jan did and talk the way that Jan did, and we'll have questions. There will be chat interactions, assuming chat talks. And there's that. I'm pretty sure we did hit 50 followers today, but we're not going to do our. We have 50 followers. That's just because that's like a huge milestone. Still have 49 apparently. Interesting. But yeah. Is there anything else? Hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream today. Today was like, at least for me, it was so cool talking to Jan and like basically, because I don't even remember really that small time during Viking Voyage that I talked to him. So it was basically so cool to meet him. It's the first time I talked to him, basically for 2.5 hours. It was like really fun. Other than that, follow us on Twitch, follow us on Instagram. Instagram to me our main place of things, but also Discord if that's interesting to you as well. Yeah. If you guys have any questions for me, I can answer them last second, but that's all I got for you guys. Okay, looks like there are no questions. So thank you guys. Oh, how's your day going? Are you guys like at band? Why are you guys together? My day is going. Oh, I guess I didn't talk to you. We have stats here, but did not talk during all of school today. It's kind of cool to just observe people because I talk way too much and I just don't keep track of people. But not talking was kind of cool. Oh, you're about to play League. You know, I would agree with you if it was not 9:11 p.m. and I didn't have a tennis tournament tomorrow and I wasn't sick. I also re-downloaded League for the first time since March 2020, yesterday, because I plan on playing a 5-stack this weekend for the first time in 2.5 years. It's crazy to think about that. I'm not sure if it's a good thing, but yeah, as you can tell, I like talking. So not talking today was kind of interesting. Also kind of sucked to not socially interact with people. I think I've learned that, like, I think I am, like, first of all, the fact that I'm monologuing, but I think I am an extrovert or like an ambivert. Like, I'm not quite an extrovert, but I'm an extrovert in the sense that social interaction does, like, it energizes me and makes me happy. Because for introverts, because I thought that I was an introvert, and for a while I think I was, but interactions used to drain me. I think that's sort of the hallmark trait of an introvert, where like social interaction, it drains you, whereas for extroverts, it energizes you. And recently I found that talking and interacting with people is energizing for me. And I think before I was just so afraid of judgment, so unsure of myself. And to be fair, still worried about judgment, still egotistical in that sense. But like just learning that is kind of cool. You know, your offer to play League is very tempting, but it's 9:13. Typically, I start getting ready for bed at like 8:45. But yeah, thanks for asking, by the way. How's your day? If you guys are willing to talk, if not, then we're good. Also, I'm wearing the hat because when I'm sick, I'm too lazy to take. Well, I'm not lazy, but when I'm sick, I don't take care of myself, so my hair was bad. Also, this hat is really nice. Like my other hats, they don't really fit my head well, but this one makes me look round. So I can't say it looks objectively nice, but I like it. Oh my god, Jan just texted me saying that he's willing to do another stream sometime. That makes me so excited. Jeez. Okay. But yeah, if nothing else, I will end stream. I'll give you guys a minute if you guys have any final questions. But if not, the stream will end. Let's wrap things up. What stuff I missed? Do you like Mr. Peach? You know, it's kind of scary to answer that question when you have Mr. Peach as a teacher skill. And like the chances that this gets to Mr. Peach in some way or another is like low. But I think, okay, I don't think it's so bad that it's like reflects negatively on him in any significant way. So I gotta be careful because this is reflective of me. I think, yeah, we'll talk. I'll be careful about how I say things here. Right, Tom? You're watching stream, Summer? Sorry, I got distracted. I didn't know Summer was watching stream. Summer, why don't you talk? But okay, Mr. Peach, like, I think the biggest thing is that the class doesn't really support him, which is like, it's kind of sad. And like, I know I have friends, just to not be named, but I have friends who, ah, yeah, basically they find the class very boring and brain dumb. Oh, you don't have the app. Just go on your Chrome, or are you at? Oh, okay, that's fair. You can ask Summer. Sorry, I'm talking to Summer right now through Instagram because I get distracted easily. I had to explain, but you can just text through Instagram if you want. I know it's kind of scuffed, but on Mr. Peach, like I'm one of those people who are like, at first I didn't like expressing this opinion, but because Miss Simmons expressed it, now I feel more comfortable saying, which is that like I like school. Like it sounds kind of dumb, but like I was like thinking about, okay, what like career wise, I was like, oh, what do I like? What am I happy? What do I like doing? And it's like in general at school, I'm happy, and like when I'm studying for school, it's like I'm pretty happy. And like I don't want to become an academic researcher. I don't want to go into academia, but like going to school is fun for me and doing schoolwork. Like I remember yesterday, or was that today? Today, yeah, today I was sick, right? I wasn't talking. I was doing an assignment in physio, and Summer was like, I don't think, yeah, it's not bad. No, yeah, this doesn't reflect that at all. She's like, I feel bad because you're doing all the work. And like the thing is that that assignment, it was like wasn't so easy that it was brain dead, but it wasn't so hard that I had to use like I was challenged. It was just enough that like my brain was like had to function, and it felt good because then like I was in like sort of a rut because I'm sick and I can't interact with people. But like if I'm like when I'm sick and I'm in that rut, like because like I was really mad yesterday, not mad, but like frustrated because I was like, man, I feel terrible because yesterday I felt so bad, but like because I'm sick, I can't talk to friends, I can't interact with people because I don't want to make myself worse, and I can't exercise, and like my main outlets are friends, talking, exercising, and then like I don't know, those are like the main outlets for like when I'm not in a good mood, especially tennis. Tennis is like a huge one, but I can't play tennis if my lungs are coughing or my nose sucks. How did I get here from Mr. Peach? Oh, scholastic stuff. I like school. Um, so in general, like of my classes, is Peach the one that I look forward to? Probably not. Like honestly, starting my day being a TA for Nguyen is like such a like Justin's. Oh, you're not in the class. I forgot you used to be in the class. But starting the day with Nguyen as a teacher, it's kind of fun. Like Jen sort of trashing him, and yeah, I see where he's coming from. Like I thought for like the longest time that he was like not a good teacher. Like I look at him relative to the other math teachers at Marina. I'm so happy I had him for 3 years in a row. And sure, if I had Bogart, would that have been better? Maybe. I have no clue. But like what he's good at is he's good at engaging the class, and, like being engaging to the class and being like able to pay attention. In stats, I have stats with Peach. I'm able to do the same. But what's the yeah, this gets into the main difference between Nguyen and Peach. Peach feels almost like an online instructor. It's like it doesn't feel like I say I don't know what he does for calc because I didn't have it for calc, but for stats he just like he just puts up the notes and then you copy it down. That's it. Like and it's like I don't even pay attention to words that he's saying. I just like write down the stuff that's on there and like I learn it myself because like that's just more efficient and it's a lot less boring. And I also do the homework in class. I'd say basically every day. I think there's only been a couple of days where it hasn't been the case. I'll finish homework before I finish notes in class because he'll finish notes at some point in class. I'll finish the homework before that point in time because I do homework while he's doing notes because it's just like he goes that slow doing notes. And to be fair, I did that during Nguyen as well when I because I knew a bunch of the stuff at the beginning of the year, so I did homework during class because I also knew the TA, so I asked them to turn the homework on earlier. But for me, like it's more teaching style. Like it's hard for me to pay attention and teach, and if I was not doing the homework, I would not get anything. Like, I would not do anything. I'd say Peach is probably a completely fine teacher if you're able to pay attention. I just say Nguyen is a little bit easier to pay attention to, and he also makes it a little bit more. He makes like I don't think many teachers at Marina teach their subjects rigorously, like an actual from a mathematically correct standpoint. And Mr. like they teach more from like, oh, this is like, oh, this is what you do, memorize how you do it. And I think Mr. Nguyen is the best at getting you to understand, okay, when you get this, just do it like this. Like it's just that's how you do it. But yeah, I like. Cause the thing is that I like all my teachers. Like to be fair, junior year teachers, on average, significantly better. But oh, I gotta think about that. Okay, teachers were not necessarily significantly better. I just enjoyed my classes significantly more. Because last year I calc with Nguyen, I had all my senior friends in that class. I had Evans. To be fair, we didn't get to interact with friends that much until the end of the year, but Evans I just loved to death so much. And then history, I had my tennis friend group. It was like also a normal history, so it was such like a free class, so it was just social hour. It gave me a break in the middle of the day. Spanish was Spanish, honestly, like can't really expect much from Spanish there. Physics, I had my senior friend group again. That's all I did. I did not pay attention in that class, which is why I deserved the AP score. Okay, I deserved a lower AP score than I got. I got lucky with my AP score. And then bio was Ayler's. Ayler's such a good teacher as well. So like, I was happy junior year. This year I'm still pretty happy. The fact that I'm sick right now, I'm not too happy about. But like the fact that I'm extracurricularly getting more involved, have more friends, socially more involved, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. Like, would I consider like myself, like a socially adept person? No. But like compared to last year, I'm much happier with where I'm at. I monologued for 8 minutes straight, and that was like a short tangent. That's impressive. I don't know how I talk so much. That's why I'm a streamer. All right, I'll give you guys a minute. I should probably start prepping in case. Okay, looks like we're chilling. Actually, I'm scared that like I have to believe that the students have to generate. Yeah, that is absolutely correct. But I think the way that it has to work, or at least in my like, unless your student base is automatic, it's just inherently like that. One big thing is that the students have to respect the teacher because like I think this is the biggest thing where it's like if Mr. Peach asks a question and doesn't get a response, the class does not feel obligated to raise their hand and respond. Like they don't feel bad. So like there'll just be no response, and then Mr. Peach will cave in and he'll just give the answer. Whereas with Mr. Nguyen, like sometimes that happens, but more commonly it's like people will raise their hand. How am I still streaming? Jennifer asks. Like, it's a good question, but I'm really good at monologuing, Jennifer. Like, you sit me in a room with a mute person, like a person who can only speak like 2 words, and I can talk for like 2 hours if my voice doesn't give out. Like, I went on like an 8-minute tangent on Mr. Peach. But what was I talking about? Yeah, I think because I'm thinking about Nguyen class last year. I think you're actually really right, Justin. Like, we had a guy named Jackson Trent, and he's the type of guy who raises his hand in every single class, and that's what he did in every single class. And he kind of carried our class. But we also had Sam and Sid, which is like a funny dynamic. But yeah, you're right. Like, it is very student driven. Is this why you don't talk that much on me? Because I talk more than you. Summer, do you want the truth? I don't know if you're gonna like the truth, but no, I think you'll be proud, but also slightly hurt. But I think you'll be more proud than hurt. So if you want the truth, I can explain why I don't talk. I think I still talk a reasonable amount around you. I just don't talk as much. Oh wait, sprung roll. This is so cool. I just sprung. Me, Evo, Thomas, Kevin. Also, I'm gonna go for my earbud. Okay, me, Evo, yeah, that sounds kind of fun. Yeah, some of the truth. It's not like anything unique. Is the background audio bad? Oh, I mean, to be fair, the stream should be ending soon, but um, yeah, I can see that. Oh no, I can really see Thomas wilding and that sort of inspiring more wilding. Oh, my nose is so bad now. I think I made a mistake, guys. Yeah, you guys have people talking. Sounds kind of nice. Question is like, I remember last year's stats, but like stats period 0. What Peach did was just play movies, but in Nguyen was so hype. You guys might miss out on a Squid Game. I want to do Squid Game again. Remember, if Sprong remembers Squid Game, that was like really hype, free extra credit. And then the ping pong tournament at the end of the year, also super hype. To be fair, it was only hype if you were good at ping pong. And to be fair, Sprong was also very, very good at ping pong. Never do it again. What are we talking about? Oh, that's just unfortunate. Okay, like it's really fun if you're like if you make it, but like Ronald basically threw for me first round with the marbles with Starburst. No, it was so cool. I want to do it again. I'm gonna make it happen. And it's fun. I don't know if you have a 0, but if you don't, you should come because Winston comes sometimes and it's like super fun. The class itself, I would say 0 period last year was more enjoyable than this year. I would much prefer to be in last year's class, which I was, so I'm happy about that. But much prefer that to this year because I like a lot of the seniors more than. It's not like I don't like the juniors. It's just that the seniors are were so new to me last year, which is like the novelty. But Sprung asked, how do I feel about my chances for prom royalty? That's assuming that prom's not at Marina, because I'm not going to Hoko because it's at Marina. Otherwise, I would have gone because it's senior year, but I'm not going. And then prom royalty, like, you know, before the school year started, I was like, in about a year, none of you guys will move. Like, basically, the opinions of nobody at school will ever matter again. After very Peruvian, whoever that is, thank you for following. But like, I told myself that I would be like, who cares? Like, just the idea of like, who cares? Like, why? Why do I care about people's opinions? So to be fair, I have been making strides, I guess, if that's the word. But okay, Summer, if you're still here, the truth is basically I'm scared of you. But going back to it, like prom royalty. First of all, I don't know what that entails. I'm assuming that like it has something outside my comfort zone, and like I know I should do it. And I don't have a good response to that. Like I know I should. That's also assuming that people vote for me, which, like, I won't deny that I think people might vote up for me out of like for fun, but I don't think like you compare like not enough people know me and care. Like no, it's not even that. Like I think people know and care about me, but it's like on the stage of like the 2,000, the 2,200 people who go to Marina, I'm like 50 people, at most 50 people, and like that's if like for whatever reason they all decided that I was prom rocked. But I don't know. I'll probably go to prom. If it's at Marina, that's a lot more dubious. But yeah, I am Mr. Worldwide. Yep. I didn't even know who that was until then. Van will vote for me. That's funny because like I know only like a couple people in Van. Like I know if I start naming them, I'm gonna forget people, which is not good. But Justin asked if I can go to prom with you. You know, like I would. And if it's not Marina, then sure. But like I might be going with you and with Winston and with. I mean, never mind. I'm not gonna say that. That would have came out of that. Emily, you're right. I should not be here. Like my nose is like during stream, earlier stream it was fine, but like my nose is clogged, and I know that this is a mistake. But my friends are here. How much of a delay is there? Like these messages are coming in so much later than I'm talking. Unless you guys are. No, wait. Maybe because I'm low. Maybe you guys are not low latency, but I would run with Sprong. I would run with Winston. I would run with basically anybody. It'd be kind of fun. But then like I really want to hang out with you guys because I don't get time to hang out with you guys very much. Which is like, and also like I kind of. It's not that I thrive on social interaction, but social interaction makes me happier than I realized. Like I remember 2 days ago, what was that yesterday? Yesterday I decided to eat in my um, car alone. And I remembered that's how it was at the beginning of junior year. I would eat alone. And like I remember what it was like to eat alone because I ate alone yesterday. And it's not even like that was a choice. It wasn't like I was excluded. Like I could have went to Kiwis, I could have went to basically anywhere and I would have had people. But I decided to eat alone because I was kind of mad yesterday. There's a lot of bad things that came kind of confluence of stuff. I'm gonna finish this line of thought and I'm gonna try because it actually looks like things are getting worse for me. But what you call it? Yeah, social life. Like I'm sort of like I know I should be, but like it's just not on my mind as much as it should be. But like I should be so much more appreciative of like I don't deserve the number of people who know and care for me. And it's like I know people will be like, oh no, you deserve it. But it's like not on those like if I deserve it, so many more people deserve it. And I'm not gonna say that they like necessarily deserve it more than me, but I feel like if I merit this level of like I think the biggest thing that I merit or like I get that really is not like that not so much that undeserved, but so many other people don't get it is I just get so much inherent respect from people. It feels like I don't have to do anything to win you guys' respect, which feels like it's really nice to have, but it feels bad that that's not the case for others.